mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, pero sa sinanalan, alam ng puso, sa dibig ko'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kuya ka ng magiting, sa mandulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ng pagaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa paglayang minamahal, ang islang ng matawad ko'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pamay di magdidinig, luman ang araw ng warhabing pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling ko. Ang inigaya na patay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Dear God, we come to your holy throne with a humble heart to ask for your forgiveness for all the sins that we have made. We know that we are not deserving of your goodness, but still you love and chose us to be your children. Today, we honor you and we lift your name on high. Thank you for giving us this beautiful day to conduct the NSAARRD. We pray for your intervention and leading throughout the whole program. We acknowledge the presence of the Holy Spirit in this place. May you give the presenters the wisdom that they need in presenting and answering all the questions. We pray for your protection for everyone, Lord. We rebuke all the destructive works of the enemy and we declare the victory and success of this event. To you, the highest praises, glory, and thanksgiving, God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
A pleasant morning to everyone. Live from the DOST Picard Innovation and Technology Center, Los Baños, Laguna. I am Gabriel Paulo Peralta and this is the 2022 National Symposium on Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources Research and Development, or NSAARRD. Today, we are going to witness the presentations of this year's 6 finalists for the Best Research and Development Paper Awards, 3 of which are under the Research category and the other 3 under the Development category. So, to begin our program, here is the Executive Director of the Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources Research and Development, Dr. Reynaldo V. Ebora, for his welcome address.
Good morning. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. I would like to welcome you all to the 2022 National Symposium on Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources Research and Development, or NSAARRD. This is a hybrid event being held right here at the DOST Picard's Innovation and Technology Center and is streamed live on Picard's Facebook page. Because we have not yet fully emerged from the pandemic, only the finalists and the Board of Judges are physically present here at the DPITC, while the viewers are watching the event online. At this point, let me express my gratitude to everyone for joining us today. Our finalists for coming to Picard in spite of the constraints to share the research and development results. The Board of Judges, Professor Teresita Borromeo, Dr. Emilia Quinito, Dr. Arnolfo Monleon, and Dr. Feliciano Calora for helping us select the best among the best. We are really thankful and honored for your precious time shared with us. As you all know, NSAARRD is an annual symposium being held to present and promote research and development papers crafted by some of the country's brightest researchers competing for Picard's Best R&D Paper Awards. The entries were thoroughly evaluated and finalists were selected by our board of judges. In today's event, we will acknowledge the researchers' significant contributions in addressing issues in agriculture, aquatic, and natural resources sector through science, technology, and innovation to uplift the lives of our farmers, fisherfolks, consumers, and communities and industries in general. With the help of our external screening committee, who are currently our board of judges for this event, 6 papers are selected, vying for the Best R&D Paper Awards. 3 of the papers are competing for the research category, while the other 3 papers are competing for the development category. I would like to congratulate all the presenters for reaching this far in this award process, as you are all already considered winners at this point. Although your job is not yet over until today, I would also like to thank again our board of judges for their thorough evaluation in selecting the finalists out of all the submitted entries and for the evaluation of the presentations later today. Furthermore, we would like to extend our thanks to our researcher, partners, and especially to the Regional R&D Consortia for their constant support to make this annual event possible. Again, congratulations to all the finalists and have a pleasant day. Magandang umaga pong muli sa inyong lahat.
Thank you very much for that warm message, Dr. Ibarra. So, now, what is NSAARRD? What is the purpose? To give you a brief information about this event, let us all watch this.
Welcome to the 2022 National Symposium on Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources Research and Development. Through the years, the National Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources Research and Development Network and its member agencies have generated numerous research and development information and technologies intended to boost productivity of the agriculture, aquatic, and natural resources sectors. DOST Picard has been conducting the National Symposium on Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources Research and Development, or NSAARRD, to promote outstanding papers in research and development and to keep network abreast on the latest innovations in the AANR sectors. During the symposium, finalists of the Best Research and Development Paper Awards present their papers to the Board of Judges. These papers have been qualified to present in the symposium after passing the 3 stages of screening, which are screening of completeness of documents as per guidelines, evaluation of the internal screening committee, and evaluation of the external screening committee. The award has 2 categories. First is the research category, which includes research results from the conduct of fundamental basic research, applied research, experimental development, and/or pilot testing. The second is the development category, which includes output of systematic work in applying and/or adopting new knowledge and information, technology, products, processes systems, services, machines, and equipment gained from research and/or practical experiences or best practices. The development category also includes the use of the innovative modality or strategy in determining end users' response to the introduction of package of mature and improved technologies and in providing researchers and technology transfer agents with feedback to better technology dissemination, utilization, and adoption. Qualified papers include research and development projects conducted in the Philippines, completed during the last 2 years preceding the award regardless of funding, best paper winners and regional symposium for the consortium member agencies, and 1 entry per national research and development institutions. finalists will receive awards in the form of plaques and cash for both categories. For the allocation of cash prizes, the first, second, and third place authors will receive 150,000 pesos, 125,000 pesos, and 100,000 pesos respectively. Also, the consortia will receive 20,000 pesos, while the implementing agencies will receive 10,000 pesos each. Each finalist will be given 10 minutes to present their papers. After every presentation, there will be a 10-minute question and answer segment. Questions will come first from the Board of Judges and then from the audience. Presentations will be judged based on the following criteria: clarity of presentation, stage presence, and response to inquiries. This 10% will be added to the paper's rating prior to the symposium, which constitutes 90% of the total rating. The ranking of the finalists for the Best Research and Development Paper will be announced during DOST Picard's Golden Anniversary celebration to be held on November 10 this year. You may reach us at the following email for your queries on the awards. Thank you, and God bless us all.
There you go. Now we know that the purpose of NSAARRD is not only to get us up to date with the recent R&D works, but also to feature outstanding papers in research and development. So before we start with the presentation of our finalists, let us introduce our Board of Judges. Our Board of Judges is a group of professionals from the agriculture, aquaculture, and natural resources sectors. They also served as the external screening committee who selected the top scientific papers to be presented today. Let's meet them one by one. Our first judge and the chair of the Board of Judges is a retired professor in the Institute of Crop Science, College of Agriculture and Food Science, and currently an adjunct professor at the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. She handled core subjects in crop science, plant breeding, and plant genetic resources conservation and management. Her research interests include varietal improvement and genetic resources conservation and management of rice, sweet potato, legumes, and medicinal plants, as well as the documentation of indigenous vegetables. She also served as technical expert and advisor to the governing body of the International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food and Agriculture since 2005. Currently, she is a part of the Rice Varietal Improvement Team of UPLB, which develops and releases rice varieties for irrigated and rain-fed drought-prone areas. Live from her home residence, let us all welcome Professor Teresita H. Borromeo. Good morning, ma'am. And we're happy to have you here today. Moving on, our next judge is a licensed fisheries technologist and currently the Secretary and Crustacean Culture Specialist at the Integrated Services for the Development of Aquaculture and Fisheries, or ISDA Incorporated. She is also a retired senior scientist of the Southeast Asian Fisheries Development Center, Aquaculture Development, and served as a scientist head in the Technology Verification and Demonstration Division from 2012 to 2014. She was able to publish a total of 74 scientific papers in referee journals, proceedings, and manuals as both co-author and co-author, and also served as guest editor of the Aquaculture Journal, editor of proceedings and manuals, and a reviewer of manuscripts and project proposals on aquaculture. Currently, she also assists in drafting municipal ordinances for management and conservation of mangrove crabs and served as consultant in different international and local organizations and universities such as the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, Bangladesh Department of Fisheries, and the Picard DOST-funded projects under Mindanao State University, Maguindanao, and Laguna State Polytechnic College. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Dr. Emilia T. Quiniso. Moving on to our third judge. He is the director of the Marinduque State College Torrijos campus and presently is taking up the Juris Doctor degree at the Envergra Law School under Manuel S. Envergra University Foundation. Due to his background and specialty on research and development works, he led the implementation of R&D programs and projects, especially on Marinduque native pig, also known as Marcaduque, and Philippine native pig. Also, he led the establishment of Marcaduque Research and Development Center under NSAARRD and Artificial Insemination Laboratory at the Marinduque State College, Torrijos. He served as a visiting professor, this thesis external advisor, reviewer, journal reviewer editor, and pahinungod volunteer in different agencies and organizations. He also wrote an information bulletin titled Lechon Science, which has published by DOST Picard. Currently, he is the Vice President of DOST Picard Graduate Alumni Association and member of several professional organizations such as the Philippine Society of Animal Science, Philippine Association of Research Managers, and the National Research Council of the Philippines. Moreover, he is a content creator and a vlogger where he leads the Marcaduque TV YouTube channel. The contents of this channel is to disseminate the activities, accomplishments, and outputs of the R&D program on native pig. Let us all welcome Dr. Arnolfo M. Monleon. And last, but definitely not the least, to represent Dr. Feliciano G. Calora Jr., is the Director of the Agricultural Resources Management Research Division and has been with DOST Picard since 1990. He served as Director of the Institution Development Division from April 2016 to July 2018. As IDD Director, he spearheaded the development and implementation of Graduate Research and Education Assistantship for Technology, or GREAT program of DOST Picard. He also served as the officer in charge of the Office of the Deputy Executive Director for Research and Development from November 2019 to January 2021. Under international partnerships, he was the country officer for Plant Resources of Southeast Asia, or PROSEA, from September 2000 to October 2003. He received various awards and distinctions for his outstanding performance. Additionally, he also received a distinction from the Bureau of Agriculture Research Bar Directors Award for R&D paper published in an international referee science journal in 2002. He also attended various seminars, trainings, workshops, conferences, and symposia, both locally and abroad. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Dr. Juanito T. Batalon. Thank you very much for being here with us today, our Board of Judges. So before we begin, let us remind our finalist presenters of the mechanics. Each finalist will be given 10 minutes to present their papers. After every presentation, another 10 minutes will be allotted for the question and answer round. Questions will be coming first from the Board of Judges, and then we will also be entertaining or capturing questions from our live Facebook audiences. To our Facebook viewers watching live, kindly input in the comment section your name and designation together with your questions in the chat box. These presentations will be evaluated based on the following criteria. 90% already came from the pre-NSAARRD screening, and the remaining 10% will be generated in today's oral presentation for a total of 100%. Note that the pre-NSAARRD screening committee is also comprised by our Board of Judges. So, with that, let us now begin with a series of presentations. To start up, here's our first finalist for the research category. From the Northern Mindanao Consortium for Agriculture, Aquatic, and Resources Research Development, or NSAARRD, we have Dr. Maria Melanie P. Medecilo Guiang to present their paper on biodiversity inventory, assessment, and conservation for ecotourism development in Mount Agad-Agad, Lanao del Norte. Dr. Guiang is the Chair of Plant Sciences, Biological Sciences Division of the National Research Council of the Philippines, and Assistant Secretary of the Association of Systematics Biologists of the Philippines, and is actively involved in plant diversity research in the Philippines. Currently, she is the coordinator of the Biodiversity Laboratories and Facilities Unit of the Center for Biodiversity Research and Extension in Mindanao, as well as a faculty member of the Department of Biology in Central Mindanao University. She serves as a project leader in an NRCP-funded project and also the project leader in a DOST GIA-funded project. She also served as a reviewer in reputable journals and presented papers in both national and international conferences. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Maria Melanie P. Medicilo Guiang.
Mount Agad-Agad is one of the tourist destination and wondrous mountain sitting in Iligan City, Lanao del Norte. It is frequently visited by trekkers and mountaineers to experience nature and see the panoramic view of the city. This research was implemented to help the local stakeholders develop the site as ecotourism and to declare Mount Agad-Agad as a local conservation area. However, no biodiversity studies has been conducted yet. Hence, this research entitled Biodiversity Inventory Assessment and Conservation for Ecotourism Development in Mount Agad-Agad, Lanao del Norte was implemented. This research aims to determine species composition of flora and fauna, compute the biodiversity indices across sites, and assess the conservation and ecological status. It also aims to conduct capability building activities, develop ecotourism and conservation initiatives. To achieve the objectives mentioned, this is the schematic flow of our methodology. To document vertebrate and invertebrate fauna, different types of standard trapping and field sampling techniques were used. For vertebrates, the capture and release method was employed. On the other hand, all plants encountered during our transit walks were recorded, documented, and brought to the museum for further processing. There are 3 sampling sites established in Mount Agad-Agad. The first one is in Sitio Langinlanon in Barangay Pugaan. The second one is in Sitio Pindugangan in Barangay Tipanoy. And the third is in Sitio Mibolo, also in Barangay Tipanoy. Our research documented 441 species of plants, 217 species of invertebrates, and 130 species of vertebrates. Out of these 751 species, 30 are threatened and 130 are endemic species. These are some of the documented plants, of which 44 are endemics and 20 are threatened. Birds, of which 19 are endemic and 3 are threatened. Bats, of which 3 are endemics. Rodents, of which only 1 species is endemic. Frogs, of which 5 are endemic. Lizards, of which 8 are endemic and 1 species is threatened. Snakes, of which out of 12 species, 6 are endemic. And for the invertebrates, 36 are endemics and 7 are threatened. As to faunal species diversity, Sitio Pindugangan has the highest diversity index. For capability building activities, 37 local researchers were trained and empowered, 10 graduates MS biology students were mentored, and several trainings and workshops were conducted. Among these workshops are plant propagation and butterfly rearing, biodiversity monitoring system, and ecotourism. During a series of transit walks, abundant population of ijuk or kaong were observed which are underutilized. So, we trained our local researchers and our different stakeholders on how to process kaong for their alternative source of livelihood. Further, to save our nearly extinct flora and fauna, species of ferns and flowering plants were propagated through ex situ conservation. Likewise, assisted natural regeneration activity was also conducted, which was participated by members and officers of Mount Agad-Agad Biodiversity Ecotourism Council and Mount Agad-Agad Ecotourism and Biodiversity Association. To promote biodiversity awareness, 21 communication, education, and public awareness or IEC materials were prepared and disseminated to the different stakeholders. 5 biodiversity signages and 1 Mount Agad-Agad Biodiversity Trail were installed in strategic places of Mount Agad-Agad. To increase scientific productivity, 5 papers were published in Scopus or Clarivate Analytics Index journals, and 2 papers are under review. This project also initiated the formation of Mount Agad-Agad Biodiversity and Ecotourism Council to plan, implement, and manage the ecotourism activities of Mount Agad-Agad. This council composed of the different agencies under the local government units of Iligan City. Further, Mount Agad-Agad Ecotourism and Biodiversity Association was also formed to manage ecotourism activities, initiate funding source for further ecotourism development and biodiversity protection. More importantly, the major output of this research is the science-based policy recommendation which led to the legislation of Mount Agad-Agad as a local conservation area. Indeed, a more diverse future is ahead of Mount Agad-Agad through this research. The offshoot of this research is another research proposal submitted to the City Mayor of Iligan amounting to 15 million to further develop Mount Agad-Agad as biodiversity and ecotourism site. In summary, our research documented 751 species of plants and animals, of which 30 are threatened and 130 are endemic species. Mount Agad-Agad was also declared as a local conservation area. For tangible and significant accomplishments, 5 papers in Scopus or Clarivate Analytics journals were published, 21 communication, education, and public awareness, and 1 photographic field guide in flora and fauna were produced, 5 biodiversity signages and Mount Agad-Agad Biodiversity Trail were installed in strategic location of Mount Agad-Agad. 37 local researchers were trained and empowered. 10 Master of Science in Biology graduate students were mentored, and 3 finished their Master of Science in Biology degree. 5 capability building activities and 1 livelihood opportunities were conducted. 8 science-based policy recommendations were used in legislating Mount Agad-Agad as a local conservation area. Mount Agad-Agad is an excellent exhibit that we can do more when it comes to saving our nature. Further, it is a living proof that through this research, we can save our diverse flora and fauna to be enjoyed and witnessed by our future generations to come. Lastly, we'd like to acknowledge the different agencies and local stakeholders who contributed to the successful completion of this research.
Dinhi sa Mount Agad-Agad, daghan kayong nakita nga nagkalain-lain nga mga tanom o mga mananap pinaagi sa pagtuki-tuki ni Dr. Victor Amoroso o sa mga kauban gikan sa IMU. Mao kini nga kami nagpasalamat sa NRCP nga gipunduhan kini nga research pinaagi ni Congressman Xiao nga karon elect as mayor of Iligan City. O karon amo kining gihangyo sa LGU nga kanunay kining suportahan aron pag-promote sa ecotourism and conservation. Maayong Iligan, soroy ta sa Mount Agad-Agad.
Thank you very much, Dr. Giang. For our live viewers, you may now send your questions via the comment section. Kindly indicate your name and your designation together with your question so we can address you properly. They will be answered by our presenters after addressing the questions from the Board of Judges. With that, let's begin with the question and answer round. May we start with Professor Borromeo? I'm sorry, ma'am. You're still on mute.
Right. Okay, good morning. Thank you very much for your presentation, Dr. Gia. My first question is there a correlation with the diversity in the different sites? Because you mentioned that in the site of Pintugalan has the highest diversity index. And I suppose that the different sites have different elevation, right? So is there any relation, diversity, the amount of diversity found in the areas based on elevation?
Based on elevation, there is no much difference. The highest diversity when it comes to fauna is in Sitio Pindugangan because the area is near the stream, the water stream, as well as it has a limestone or karst vegetation there.
Okay, thank you. What is the diversity index in each of the sites? May we know?
We only have diversity index for fauna. In Sitio Pintungangan, yes, ma'am. Because in plants, we consider it as a natural ecosystem, not a natural ecosystem, rather.
But you still have the inventory, right? And so you can also determine the diversity index, at least the species index, species diversity index. You've been using the Shannon Wyver index, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so you can also compute for the diversity index for the flora and the total flora and fauna.
For the flora, ma'am, we only have 4 plats because the site is not a natural ecosystem. When we compute for the species diversity, it turned out that most of the trees there are agricultural crops. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Can I continue or I'll have the chance for the other board of judges?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you for that question, Professor Borromeo. We will now be moving on with the next question po. May we have Dr. Kinisio?
A pleasant morning to all. Thank you for that presentation. That's a very comprehensive study
Thank you, ma'am.
on the biodiversity. However, I also found out when I was reading your paper, I think you listed several scientific names. I think you also need to put some of the local names so that it can easily be understood by the readers, but because many of the readers are not familiar with the scientific names. So when you disseminate the info, like in the community, I think you need to put the local names also.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then in relation to the sites, how many major sitios are there in Mount Agad-Agad?
There are only 3 sitios. We have Pindugangan, Langinlanon, and Sitio Mibolo. That is surrounding Mount Agad-Agad.
So those were the sitios that you only, because I thought there are still other sitios in Mount Agad-Agad.
Only that 3,
Only
ma'am.
those sitios.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Kasi I will ask sana kung how did you choose those sites, no? Kung ano yung criteria nyo, parang ganon. So, you also mentioned in the paper that you determined the age of some of the species.
No, ma'am.
Hindi?
No, ma'am.
But parang
Age.
of some of the species, determine the age of some of the species.
No, ma'am. It's
Okay.
not part of our study.
It's not part of that. Kasi sometimes, for example, di ba, like for the trees, you can determine the age, or may mga determining ano yan
Yeah, sa forestry, ma'am.
sa forestry, oo. Ganon.
Counting the number of annual rings.
Oo.
We didn't do
Para kung how old are the some of the species found already in the area. Parang ganon sana.
We didn't include that in our study, ma'am.
So, okay, that's all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kinisio. Now, may we have Dr. Monleon.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Congratulations, Dr. Kiyang and the team. You
Thank
are
you.
winner already. The
Thank you,
3
sir.
are winners already. In a jurisprudence, intergenerational obligation of our environment is a must. Let me ask you your
And ecotourism at the same time. Maybe responsible ecotourism, because we trained the local stakeholders on how to manage their biodiversity in a sustainable way.
All right, thank you very much po for the question, Dr. Monleon. Moving on, may we have Dr. Batalon.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. And thank you for that very comprehensive presentation. Congratulations to Dr. Victor Amoroso and Dr. Giyang.
Thank you,
and
sir.
of course, including the whole research team for this very impressive research initiative. Well, many of the people, or especially the legislators who are funding us, do not really appreciate the biodiversity initiatives. And this is because they could not see the value of this in terms of, the money matters. No. Do you have, I don't know if this is part of your study, but do you have plan, if ever it's not part, to continue the study in order to put values on this initiative, especially with regards to the different flora and fauna that you have discovered or inventory in this Mount Agad area?
Yes, sir.
I have another, but I want you to answer that first. Another question later.
Actually, this research is a commissioned research. The fund came from Congressman Frederick Shaw to develop Mount Agad-Agad as a local conservation area and ecotourism site. We, 2 barangays, have resolution already declaring Mount Agad-Agad as a local conservation area. And tomorrow, we will have the local government unit of Iligan will have a public hearing declaring for the Iligan City to declare Mount Agad-Agad as a local conservation area, as well as add additional funding, because we submitted 15 million worth project to the local government of Iligan City to further develop Mount Agad-Agad as ecotourism and local conservation area. So we involve the local government units in our project, and hopefully it will push through this year, because they will have a public hearing tomorrow.
Question related. Anyway, this is also related to my first question. You actually, you have a lot of species that you have studied already. I would like to ask you about which of these species that you have inventoried or discovered, which would need a further development, especially for its utilization. Though I know that you are into conservation, more on the conservation initiative, but they are always ano bang mapapala natin as regards to the these mga discoveries kung hindi natin may convert into something valuable.
During our inventory, as mentioned, we found several population of kaong, which is underutilized. So we trained our local stakeholders how to process kaong as their alternative source of livelihood. And we also established a community garden to be used by the local stakeholders for their another source of livelihood.
Kaong is a known species already for many of us. Do you have other species that are in the area?
For ferns, we have we prioritize the threatened ferns for conservation and propagation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Batalon. So thank you very much, judges. I think, okay. So thank you very much po, Dr. Giyang. So we have to proceed to the next presenter due to limited time, but don't worry, because those with unanswered questions, especially with our online viewers, will be forwarded to Dr. Giyang. Moving to our next finalist. From Ilocos Agriculture Aquatic Resources Research and Development Consortium, or ILARDEC, we have Dr. Marilu P. Lucas to present their paper titled Sustainable Production, Marketing and Utilization of True-to-Type Bolinao Chicken in Ilocos Region. Dr. Lucas is an agricultural economist holding the rank of Professor 4 and currently the Director of Extension at the Mariano Marcos State University. Her significant research involvement includes the program on sustainable production, marketing, and utilization of true-to-type Bolinao chicken in Ilocos Region, funded by GOST Picard, among other previously accomplished externally funded projects. She has both authored and co-authored numerous publications, few of which are refereed in the Institute for Scientific Information, or ISI, Scopus indexed journals. Dr. Lucas is tapped as technical expert during the commodity research reviews and regional symposia, refereed journal articles, and has also shared her expertise in training workshops in her fields of specialization. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Dr. Marilu P. Lucas.
Good morning. I am pleased to present to you our research, sustainable production, marketing, and utilization of true-to-type Bolinao chicken in Ilocos Region. This project is a collaboration of 4 state colleges and universities, MMSU being the lead, and ISPSC, PSU, and DIMSU are collaborating SUCs. This was funded by GOST Picard and coordinated by the ILARDEC. Native chickens are very important for rural communities. They are the source of food for the household. They are the source of income and livelihood, and more importantly, source of immediate cash when there is shortfall in the household. There is high demand for native chicken, but low supply in the market. The high demand is because there are more consumers who are health conscious and now shifting to more healthy source of protein. The low supply in the market can be attributed to an informal marketing system, usually a fragmented marketing system. And there is also lack of quality breeder for native chicken, which also contribute to the low supply. All this should be given utmost attention to improve and make native chicken industry in the region. What makes Bulinaw special? This is a distinct native chicken strain in Region 1, but limited in number. Hence, there is a need to conserve, improve uniformity and performance, and increase the stock to address the low supply. In doing so, this will create a sense of identity in the region, like in Western Visayas and Zamboanga. And it will open opportunities for an agri-enterprise. What has been accomplished? 1. Phenotypic characterization. We wanted to come up with a true to type Bulinaw chicken because the original Bulinaw chicken based on literature is no longer existing in the area in Bulinaw, Pangasinan. The comparison between the breeder stock F1 with that of the literature for both rooster and hen were done, and results show that most of the characteristics are already similar with that of the literature, except for the shank color that is still variable. That is true also for the hen. Second, feeding formulation. Local available indigenous materials for feed, like the buga or the Dioscorea esculenta, was used as part of the mixture. It was turned into tuber meal mixed with commercial feeds and yellow corn breeds. The rations were formulated for starting, growing, and layer chicken. The starting is 18% and 19% crude protein and showed comparable performance. For the growing, 16% crude protein and showed higher weight gain and better feed performance. For the layer, 14% and 15% crude protein showed comparable production performance. For the marketing strategies, in the region, marketing of native chicken is still informal, unlike that of the broiler chicken. Few heads of native chicken are brought by the seller or the raiser himself to the market and sold either per head or per weight, most of the time per head. We noted that there are some of the markets where dressed chicken is already sold, but in smaller quantity, which opens an opportunity for value adding. There are 3 channels in the marketing system: channel 1, 0 level, channel 2, 1 level, and channel 3, 2 level. We noted also the supply and value chain, and there are 4 players: the raisers, the middlemen, institutional buyers, and the consumers. But there are duplications in the role of each of these key players. The institutional buyers are not as active in terms of offering dishes in their restaurants, canteens, or eateries. But looking at the benefits gained, the benefit gained is highest with that of the middleman selling to the institutional buyer, and the institutional buyer also gain higher compared to the raiser of the native chicken. Fourth, product development. The primary product that was developed in this project is the true to type Bolinao native chicken. But we were able to explore value adding like native chicken lechon and the pickled native eggs. Both underwent microbial load analysis and turned out to be at a level which is safe for consumption and also acceptable to consumers based on acceptability test for these products. Fifth, technology transfer. The project was able to provide skills training to our potential beneficiaries, and coordination with the LGUs were done prior to the entry of the team to the individual farmers. There are now 2 breeder farms that were established, one of which is being managed by our inmates in the city of Batak. And there are 4 multiplier farms already distributed in the province of Ilocos Norte. We wanted to establish as well more in La Union. However, due to the pandemic, we were not able to pursue. Our way forward, we will continue the R&D initiatives for the Bolinao native chicken and giving priority on the enhancement of the production management and to increase the egg productivity. In fact, the project for the multiplier of or multiplication of the Bolinao chicken is already funded by Fund 101 of the Mariano Marcos State University. The value-added products for business incubation is going to be pursued. We will encourage entrepreneurs to establish an agri-enterprise like the Darag and Zampen native chicken in Western Visayas and Zamboanga, respectively. And to do more, we will continue partnership with private sector who has the capability to produce quality breeder stock. For more information, you can contact the presenter under the Extension Directorate with our email address and contact number indicated in this slide. Pleasant day to all.
Thank you, Dr. Lucas. For our live viewers, you may now send your questions via the comment section. Kindly indicate your name and your designation together with your question so we can address you properly. They will be answered by our presenters after addressing the concerns from the Board of Judges. With that, let's begin with the questions. May we start with Professor Borromeo?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Oh. Thank you, Dr. Lucas. For the clear and systematic presentation of your results. Of your research results, rather. You use buga. It's one of the Discorea species that have been newly named. Discorea studenta as tuge. I think more of us are familiar with it. But buga is not that common to all of us. Can you further explain the difference between buga and tuge or the Discorea escalenta? And then my second question is, how did you acquire the initial stock of the Bolinao chicken breed to come up with the breeder stock? And what is the filial generation of the supposedly almost similar to the original Bolinao? Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your questions. For the first, the buga, yes, that's true, ma'am, that there is no big area where we can really identify where the buga can be gathered. But however, in the research, this is one of the potential mixture for the feed formulation. And the main researcher was able to use it. In fact, the initial result, there was an initial result, is that it can contribute to the performance of the Bolinao native chicken. But the analysis is only on the protein content. In terms of the difference with the other yam, like the tuge, yes, ma'am. I think there is not much difference because they belong to the same species of just Korea. We were able to ask some of our...
Ma'am, I think the size and the shape.
Yes, I forgot that. It's the size, yes, ma'am. But when I asked our expert in Buga or in the Dish Korea, she mentioned...
Melissa?
Yes, ma'am. You know Melissa. So I consulted her and she mentioned that they are almost the same. However, in terms of the availability of the material, that's a question that we really have to take into consideration, so that if we really push through with the formulation of that, given that we need to also motivate and also to have our farmers use as an additional mixture so that they can save, still we have to take this as a challenge po. That's another researchable area po, because there is really potential that our main researcher was able to find. For the second, ma'am, in terms of the breeder
initial
stock that we were able to gather, we have counterparts from Pangasinan State University, in which Bolinao is located. And they were the ones who really led us, the group, to go to the area in Bolinao and also in Anda, Pangasinan, because that's the two areas where the provincial or municipal agriculture officer also has led us, because we coordinated with the municipal office or provincial office of Bolinao, Pangasinan. And we also had our farmers, contact farmers, which our researchers went together to find. And in fact, when they were able to see the picture and the description of the Bolinao, based on literature, the farmers who were the key informants really mentioned that there was that kind of Bolinao. But they did have mentioned to us that they could not find the true or original Bolinao anymore, ma'am, because they really informed the team also that there were already a crossbreeding, something like that. So what the group had done is to collect as much as possible those that are closest to the description already based on literature. And that's where they started the selection and the identification of the Bolinao phenotypic characteristics. Yun po ang naunang ginawa. And that's, I think the science behind that is we have to have the conservation of this biodiversity. We have to have that as much as possible if we can have the original one, but then at this moment we are confident that we have established already a true to type Bolinao. But in terms of the filial generation, there's still going to be a continuous R&D on that. That's why MMSU will still continue that. In fact, it's already part of our R&D agenda, ma'am, because we want that the Bolinao native chicken strain will also become as successful as that of the Darag and the Sampen, because this is an identified unique strain in the region, which we can be proud of maybe also. But not maybe, but we can be proud of yes po, an identity for Region 1 in terms of the native chicken po.
Yeah. Thank you very much, ma'am. And there are two conservation strategies that you can do. One for Buga and one for the Bulinaw chicken. So thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you very much po, Professor Borromeo. For our next question, may we have Dr. Quinicio.
Good morning again, and thank you for your presentation. I am just wondering why the two crude protein levels tested were so close, 18 and 19%, and then the other one pa, for 21 to 70 days, and then it reduced to 16, and then 14 and 15 ba yun, yung very close then, on the 8th week onwards. So for both trials, you have only a difference of 1% protein level. So why so close? Kasi, you know, when you do some feeding level, comparison of feeding levels, or rather protein or any part of the formulation, no, hindi pwedeng too close, because when you formulate a diet and then you analyze again the formulated diet, that's the actual level na. You have the formulated and the actual, no? So if there is only 1% difference, there might be some kind of overlaps, no? So we do not know if our results are based on the protein level difference na, because of that closeness in the level. So also the commercial starter diet was modified, right? What modifications were made in the formulation? So I think it's better to put the original, where you based your formulation, and then you have the modifications here, so that, you know, it can easily be compared. What are the improvements made? Parang ganun.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much po. Doon po sa crude protein na malapit masyado, we have to accept that we will be able to confirm that, because there was an innovation done by the group, and we have to go back again. Kaya po, yung sa feed formulation po, yun po yung medyo may pagkukulang doon sa, kumbaga, it's not conclusive po, ma'am. We understand that napakaliit po talaga yun, and we cannot say that this formulation is already the one that we can recommend. So yun po, ma'am. And then for the modification, there were constraints for the project staff to be able to collect po yung mga ginamit dun sa original, because of the limitations in mobility during the pandemic po. So in as much as the team wanted to come up with an output already, the modification was done. So yun po yung ginawa, but admittedly, the researchers would like to have another round of that to verify, further verify po, ma'am.
Yes, and I think you should not only limit the analysis sa protein lang, proximate analysis at least. You have those data.
Yes po, ma'am.
When you formulate a diet, just, you know, it should be complete.
Yes, ma'am. Well taken po yung suggestion po, ma'am. The project team wanted really to do the proximate analysis, but still some limitations were beyond their control at that time po.
So one last question. How many number of blood samples were taken or were used for the DNA analysis from the sample, yung sa ano ninyo? Kasi meron kayong report on DNA analysis eh.
I cannot memorize. 200?
For each treatment or what? sige.
I cannot remember now, ma'am. But we can give the
Uh,
details.
the reason why I'm asking this is because pag hindi equal yung samples nyo, ano yung ginawa ninyo? Yung ganun.
I think it was equal, ma'am. Equal samples for each.
And enough
Of the
samples.
yes po, ma'am. Because they were able to go and gather the blood samples from the different areas where we have
Yeah,
the
because
darag.
you need to determine the allelic richness pag hindi equal yan.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Dr. Quinicio. Now may we have Dr. Monleon.
Good day, everyone. Thank you. Congratulations, Dr. Lucas and your team. You are a winner already. But I would like to pose some verification. Have you conducted market research for saying high demand for your Bolinao chicken? How much is the demand?
If you look at the demand, sir, it would be based on how our consumers are buying
Number.
native chicken.
Do you have numerical value?
Specific for Bolinao po, sir, hindi pa namin ito nabebenta kasi po nagpaparami pa po tayo. But in the general, in terms of the demand for native chicken, there is a high demand for native chicken because it can be done, it can be seen when we go to the market, there is no available supply of native chicken as available as the broiler chicken po. That's why the consumers and even the institutional buyers could not really get the native chicken that they want to buy in the market. So in few numbers only available in the market, if the institutional buyers will buy, it's not only 5 heads or 10 heads, but in bulk. That's why when we asked our institutional buyers also who are the source of demand for value-added native chicken, they claimed that they could not offer regularly native chicken in the area because of the unavailability of native chicken in the market.
Another, I'm just confused about the genetics of your Bolinao. Have you conducted a genetic diversity analysis? Or how is it different with the original?
Ang ginawa po namin ay kinumpare po doon sa diversity with the darag, the Zampen, Boholano, Parawakan po. At mas malapit po siya sa darag po ang Bolinao native chicken po.
But Dr. Lucas, you have mentioned the original and the current darag population.
The original, sir, we have used the literature po.
Only literature?
Yes po.
Okay. So the original is now extinct, nawala na siya. Siguro related ito yung another question ko ay, reproduction is a limiting factor. How would you improve reproduction traits of your Bolinao?
That's why, sir, we termed it as the true to type Bolinao native chicken. It's not the original because we use the characteristics based on literature to come up with the Bolinao native chicken, which is true to type. And if you look at the literature in terms of the plumage color, yung sa breeder at sa F1, magkaiba po sila doon sa ating literature, based on literature. But we are looking at a kind of color of the plumage, which is more or less the same in the breeder and the F1. But we cannot, at the present, we cannot say exactly when can we say that we can now see an original or the Bolinao chicken po.
Thank you, Dr. Lucas. I'm done already.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Monleon. Moving on, may we have Dr. Batalon?
Thank you, and congratulations, Ma'am Lucas, for your presentation and for this project. Actually, my questions are related to the question of Dr. Monleon. I would like to ask you about what is the most prominent or most desired traits or characteristics of Bolinao chicken that makes it different or maybe comparable to the other native chickens like Darag and Sampen?
The characteristic that we saw that makes it different from the others is that it has a stronger character in terms of how it will fight. Kasi ang claim po talaga ay ginagamit po siya to breed dun sa pangsabong po. So if the Bolinao native chicken is the material that is being used to breed those that are used for fighting cocks, then there is a premium for the Bolinao native chicken then. We have to conserve it more and make it more in terms of the number. Kasi ang population lang po na nalaman na namin ay maliit na lang po, mga 5,000 na lang po. So maliit po. That's why the project or the program in general is trying to have more of the true-to type Bolinao native chicken, sir.
Speaking of population, you already have 5,000, but you mentioned in your presentation that you have already established some multiplier farms already in Ilocos Norte and I think in La Union.
We have one in La Union, sir, na Gilian, and then more in Ilocos Norte po.
So now, how many Bolinao chickens that we have already with those multiplier farms?
Yes, sir. Just to check po, yung 5,000 po as a whole na po doon dito sa region, hindi po sa galing sa project namin.
Okay.
We have almost 200, sir. And we are protecting them actually. And we are, in MMSU, we are the source of the stock to be distributed to the multiplier farms. At doon po, kasama po nila kami to have more of this Bolinao native chicken po, na true to type.
Okay.
And we have expanded also with our collaboration with the ABRA, State Institute of Science and Technology, for a partnership. Kaya binigyan na po namin sila ng 2 families to start with po.
Thank you.
Yes po. Thank you po, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, judges. We still have many questions coming from our live viewers. However, again, we do have to proceed to the next presenter due to the limited time. Don't worry, because those with unanswered questions will be forwarded to Dr. Lucas. Once again, thank you very much, Dr. Lucas.
Thank you, sir.
And we will now be moving on for the last presenter under the research category. From Southern Luzon, Southern Tagalog Agriculture, Aquatic, and Resources Research Development and Extension Consortium, or STARDEC. We have the paper titled DNA Fingerprinting of Philippine Coffee to be presented by Dr. Miriam D. Baltazar. Dr. Baltazar is currently the Director for Research at the Cavite State University and also served as the Director of the National Coffee Research, Development, and Extension Center in 2017 to 2018. She received numerous awards for research outputs in the coffee commodity and published various research articles and information bulletins on coffee and rice in internationally indexed journals. Her research interests include plant genetics, focused on conserving and managing genetic resources and molecular breeding and improvement. Once again, let us all welcome Dr. Miriam D. Baltazar.
I wanted to tell you a true-to-life story of an overseas Filipino worker whom we call Manong Manny. After spending more than 20 years abroad, Manong Manny decided to go home to the Philippines for good. He invested in buying more than 10 hectares of land to be planted with high-value fruit Carabao mango variety. His farm manager in the Philippines bought mango seedlings to be planted in the farm. After 4 years, the family was excited of the first flowering of the mango trees. However, to their surprise, as the mango fruits developed, they were not seeing the fruit shape of a Carabao mango. Instead, the fruits developed into Indian mangoes. So you just imagine the huge loss Manong Manny experienced. And there are also many manong-manis in the coffee industry. Some farmers were expecting their coffee plants to bear high-quality coffee, such as Arabica, but ended up harvesting low-quality coffee. Coffee is a heavily traded commodity and source of income for many households, not only in the Philippines, but also worldwide. So coffee is part of our culture. For us Filipinos, coffee is our way of commune. There are four types of coffee grown in the Philippines. Arabica, which has the best cup quality and is used in specialty coffee. This is the most expensive of all coffee types. The other one is Robusta, which is often used in instant coffee. Both Excelsa and Liberica have strong flavor. Thus, they are known as Kapeng Barako. However, Excelsa is sold cheaper than Liberica. So the production of the Philippines dwindled over the years. So as you can see from this graph, our production is far below our demand for consumption. So in order to meet this demand, we import so much from other countries. So more than 90% of the coffee we drink are imported mainly from Brazil, Vietnam, and Indonesia. So in response to the growing demand for coffee and reduced importation, the government planned to expand the area planted for coffee. For example, the National Greening Program of DNR has allocated 43 million coffee seedlings to plant the underutilized forests of the country in 12 years until 2028. Moreover, the High Value Crops Development Program of the Department of Agriculture already planted around 27 million coffee seedlings in areas of expansion from 2010 to 2019. And in the coming years, until 2025, the government targets expanding the volume of production of Liberica and Excelsa from 7% to 20%. So the identity of this coffee were not always ascertained, as it requires technical expertise to differentiate coffee at the seedling level. So this results to huge loss. For example, Arabica seedlings, when planted in elevations lower than 800 meters above sea level, will not be productive. So the different types of coffee and coffee varieties cannot be easily distinguished from each other. Although the four types can be distinguished morphologically, one needs to wait for the plants to bear fruit in order to tell the type of coffee. For example, one distinguishing trait between Liberica and Excelsa is the big cherries or fruits of Liberica, while Excelsa cherries are small. So this problem is more aggravated at the variety level. It is harder to distinguish the different varieties of coffee under each type. It is thus important to use the DNA-based method of identifying or fingerprinting coffee types and species and varieties. One example of a molecular marker is the intersequence simple repeat markers or ISSR. Molecular markers or DNA markers or these ISSRs are numerous in the DNA of coffee. They are not affected by the environment, unlike morphological markers. They produce consistent results regardless of the life stage of the plant. So why is it important to use DNA fingerprinting? DNA fingerprinting or DNA-based identification ensures authenticity and proper identification of coffee regardless of the stage of plant. Proper identification, of course, is indispensable in varietal registration and plant variety protection. So DNA fingerprinting is also important in plant material certification and nursery accreditation, and of course important in the conservation and management of plant genetic resources. We then conducted this study with an overall objective of determining the DNA IDs of the coffee varieties. So how did we go about it? So DNA from 29 coffee samples were extracted, then multiplied using polymerase chain reaction machine. The DNA bonds were separated in electrophoresis and viewed under UV light. Of the 29 primers used, only primers that produced consistent bonds after 3 replications were included in the analysis. The bonds were scored based on their presence or absence, and for the genetic diversity analysis, the scores were run in NTC software. The molecular profiles of the samples were analyzed by determining the unique present or bond absent generated by a primer or combined primers. The unique bonds and bonding patterns that discriminated the coffee varieties were also identified. So what are our results? So this matrix shows us the diversity of the coffee samples. The genetic similarity of Arabica varieties was 0.7. Robusta or Coffea canephora and Liberica have a little lower genetic diversity. So the average genetic diversity of the samples was low, only 0.33. So these findings are consistent with those of the coffee germplasm in other countries. CVSU holds the germplasm collection of coffee in the Philippines. So these results are then useful in the conservation and management strategies that the university would implement to widen the genetic diversity of coffee. So to validate the discrimination of the samples, a dendrogram was generated. So the clustering of samples, as you can see, was based on the species and types of coffee. 3 major clusters were observed: Arabica cluster, Robusta cluster, and Liberica cluster. Excelsa and Liberica belongs to the same species, and it is expected that they would form one cluster, but they are distinct from each other. Arabica is closer to Robusta than Liberica. So this is expected since Arabica is a result of the hybridization between Coffea eugenoides and Coffea canephora or Robusta coffee. Concerning the DNA fingerprinting of the samples, we analyzed the present or absent bonds and bonding patterns associated with the species or types and varieties of coffee. For example, using the primer UBC841, we can see that Robusta did not show the band. So this primer, specifically the 200 base pair in size, is diagnostic to Robusta coffee. So on the other hand, the marker UBC835, the presence of bond with around 650 base pair indicates that the sample is Liberica coffee. So we summarize all the reproducible bonds of the 7 primers to identify markers and bonds and bonding patterns that are diagnostic of the samples. For example, those bonds highlighted with orange are diagnostic of Coffea liberica. Those in red are diagnostic of Excelsa. Blue and green are diagnostic of Arabica and Robusta, respectively. So this sample, number 12, is popularly known as Arabusta because of the combined traits of Arabica and Robusta, and we used to believe it to be a natural hybrid. So the results of this study invalidated our claim that this variety is a hybrid of Arabica and Robusta, rather a variety of Robusta. So several bands were found to be diagnostic to specific variety. For example, this band highlighted in green when absent using the marker UBC841 means that this variety is FRT11. So this band in purple is diagnostic to CVSU and SIC Robusta. So this is the only Robusta registered not owned by the Nestle Corporation. So this one in orange is diagnostic to CVSU NSIC Liberica, the only NSIC registered Liberica in the country. The blue one is diagnostic for Red Catura. For varieties that have not specific diagnostic bond, the unique bonding pattern is considered. For example, For the variety Granica standard, it is expected that it should generate these bonding patterns in red when run using the primers UBC 826, UBC 834, and 836. So these tables show the unique primers to identify the sample varieties. Some primers are unique to a specific variety, and some primers need to be used in combination with other primers in order to identify the variety. For example, the primer UBC 834 can identify red bourbon. On the other hand, UBC 826, 834, and UBC 836 need to be used for the identification of red Caturra. For proprietary reasons, we did not specify the specific bond size diagnostic to each variety. Now, will our results be used to help manong manis of the coffee industry? Yes, definitely. So aside from that, this study is important in the authentication or proper identification of coffee types, species, and varieties, which is important in reducing or preventing the incidence of fraud in coffee trading of seedlings, GCB or green coffee beans, and roasted coffee beans. So these are all our results, and we are grateful to the CVSU Research Center for the grant, the research grant, the CVSU NCAARRD, or the National Coffee Research, Development and Extension Center, the Genetics and Tissue Culture Laboratory, and the Field Gene Bank for providing the facilities and samples, respectively. Good morning to all of you. Good morning, coffee drinkers.
Thank you very much, Dr. Baltazar.
Thank you po.
For our live viewers, you may now send your questions via the comment section. Kindly indicate your name and your designation together with your question so we can address you properly. They will be answered by our presenters after addressing the questions from the Board of Judges. With that, let's begin with the questions. May we start with Professor Borromeo?
Okay. Good morning, Dr. Baltazar.
Good morning, Ma'am Tess.
And thank you very much for your presentation. My first question is, how did you choose the 29 varieties? And then you presented the diversity index of each of the species. But for Arabica, you said you refer to authors like Caturina, Gleta, etc. So is that your result or the result of those authors?
It's our result po, ma'am, that are in agreement with those results of previous.
Okay. The diversity index obtained, although it's high in Arabica, as you will probably explain why, because Arabica is self-pollinated amongst, right? But I think it won't be that conclusive because you have very few samples, considering the number of accessions in your field gene bank. And also probably you may use other markers to differentiate really Excelsa and Liberica, although you said that they are both belonging to the same species, Liberica, but they are botanically different, right? It's the Weblii and Liberica varieties. So they are different, so they can be classified using your markers. Do you think that the two markers that you have discovered will be sufficient to differentiate the NSIC varieties, considering that NSIC varieties will be accumulating, no? It will be more in time. Will you consider other markers to differentiate this species other than ISSR? So thank you very much.
Yes po, ma'am. Actually po, we already conducted a similar study using another marker, which is the SSR naman po, the simple sequence repeat markers. This one is inter-SSR. These are the sequences in between the SSRs. So yes po, ma'am. And we also
discovered the same result, we can differentiate Excelsa from Liberica using the markers in SSR.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I think that's all. And then you haven't answered the number of accessions you have in the gene bank. And why did you choose only 29?
Yes po, ma'am. Actually po, the reason for this is yung the type of planting materials used. For example po, in Arabica, there's no problem using seeds because Arabica is a self-pollinating species. Sa Robusta po kasi, it's a cross-pollinated. So we only consider those coming from plant mother trees supplied by the owners of these varieties, and that is Nestle Corporation po.
Okay. Thank you.
Professor Borromeo. For our next question, may we have Dr. Quinicio.
Good morning and thank you for that nice presentation. And my questions are actually the same as Dr. Borromeo. But then, what is your recommendation to simplify the authentication services to be extended to the community, just in case you have to do the extension programs? That's part of your dissemination, di ba?
Opo, ma'am. Actually po, we would like to do some minor validation of our results together with the other marker na na-mention ko po kanina, which is the simple sequence repeat markers. And actually po, initially, may mga nagre-request na po sa amin for the authentication of varieties. One concrete example po is the National Seed Industry Council. Yung technical working group po on coffee po ng NSAARRD requested us to validate the identity of what currently applied variety ng Arabica. So that's one of our extension activity po. And hopefully po next year po ay ma-establish na po namin yung authentication laboratory po ng CVSU.
Ano lang, silly question. Can you distinguish the differences in the smell, aroma? Because I'm also a coffee drinker, but sometimes I cannot distinguish, hindi ba?
Ma'am, between varieties of coffee, kasi there's this misnomer in the coffee industry in naming of coffee varieties. Oftentimes, sinasabi natin Arabica variety, Robusta variety, Excelsa variety, and Liberica variety. So actually, these are not varieties po, but they are types of coffee. Kasi may mga varieties pa po under these types of coffee, as I have mentioned kanina po. It's very hard to distinguish the flavor, the profiles of these different varieties po. Kasi malaki po yung effect ng environment and also the processing methods. But of course, genes, genetics play a role in their aroma and taste. Or yung tinatawag po nating cup quality.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Dr. Quinicio. Now may we have Dr. Manleon.
Good day. Congratulations also. You are also a winner.
Thank you, sir.
Pero na-conscious ako dito sa iyong nakalagay na abstract. Inaccurate identification of coffee varieties leads to adulteration and fraudulence in the marketing of coffee. Can you cite jurisprudence with respect to your statement here? Meron ba? Meron ba kayo talagang actual na information?
Yes po, sir. Actually, sir, there's no formal data. However, if you are to go to some convenience store, for example, merong label yung kanilang coffee doon. Sabi niya, 100% Arabica. But upon looking at the beans na nakalagay doon, oops, meron na po akong suspecha po na hindi po siya 100% Arabica.
Okay, so related to that, siguro ang kailangan natin doon ay yung mismong product ang iaano natin for genetic analysis, not the plant itself. Kasi adulteration, hindi naman yun yung iniinom natin di ba, ma'am? Dapat yung mismong product na ang tinitest natin. Anong ba tawag natin doon sa ganong
brewed coffee
testing? Yung mismong product so that you can differentiate 75%, 25%. You can quantify the amount and the adulterants. Makita din sana ninyo ito. Ano? Tapos, I'm also conscious dito sa paggamit ninyo. Kailan ginagamit yung species, types, and varieties?
Okay po. Katulad nga po nabanggit ko po kanina, talagang yung tawag po natin na Arabica variety, those are not varieties. It's not also species kasi po ang Robusta, the species name of Robusta is Coffea canephora. Hindi po siya Coffea robusta, but it's Coffea canephora. And parang pag sinabi nating variety, yung Arabica, Robusta, Excelsa, at Liberica, parang hindi siya maganda pakinggan na what type of Arabica variety, what variety of Arabica variety, what variety of Robusta variety. So that would lead confusion po sa lahat.
Another pa na concern ako doon sa conservation ninyo. Let's say, how would you calibrate or balance influence of chance in purifying your variety or your species or your types? Di ba alam mo sa genetics, yung influence of chance sa Mendelian genetics?
Okay, sir. So the good thing about this DNA markers ay hindi po sila influence ng environment. Unlike po yung mga morphological markers, for example, yung color ng cherries or ng fruits, they are highly affected by the environment. And it would change from environment to environment. Pero pag DNA po, precise na po yung makukuha po nating result doon.
May result yan, pero the actual product is already under influence of G/E interaction, di ba? Paano yun mape-perfect?
For the phenotype, sir, yes, of course, it's affected by the G/E. Pero ito po, these are just the sequences yung tinitignan po namin. So, hindi po siya affected po ng environment, ng the E.
Okay, sige. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Monleon. Moving on, may we have Dr. Batalon.
Thank you and good morning, everyone.
Morning, sir.
And congratulations, Miriam, for your project, for your presentation. Well, you mentioned in your presentation about the National Greening Program, and I was actually surprised that this is a big, in terms of the number of, is this the target of the NGP, 43 million seedlings?
Until 2028 po. Yun
Until
po
2028, yes. Okay. So how many seedlings that they have already planted?
Sir, I'm sorry, wala po akong talagang data doon. But sometimes I hear jokes po na sabi nga po nila, baka yung Pacific Ocean ay natamnan na po ng kape.
But would you know what type of coffee being planted or under the NGP program?
So wala rin po akong idea. The Coffee Roadmap 2015 to 2017 doesn't tell about this.
Yeah, because I'm about to ask you the utilization of your result in terms of, sa ating NGP, paano natin siya magagamit in collaboration, of course, with the DNR. Kasi napakalaki nito and, based on your presentation, kung hindi tama itong mga ginagamit, so malaking implication nito loss sa atin. Do you have any recommendation regarding this in relation to your project?
Opo. Although meron na po tayong enhanced national grading program, so I think nagkaroon din naman po ng evaluation po ang DENR about this one. And I also attended the stakeholders meeting for this. And we gave feedback din naman po that one possible reason kaya namamatay or mababa yung survival rate ng mga planted in the forest ay possibly due to the misidentification. For example po yung Arabica, kung sa medyo mas mababang elevation po siya nakatanim, then that would not really survive well. So in relation to that, I think we really need to communicate this with DENR in a formal writing probably po, para sa ganun mas matutuloy yung initiative po of translating the product, the results of our research po. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much po, Dr. Batalon, and thank you very much to all our judges. Thank you also, Dr. Baltazar.
Thank you so much.
We have many questions from our live viewers, but don't worry, because those with unanswered questions will be forwarded to Dr. Baltazar to answer. And that is our last presenter in the research category.
Thank you so much po.
Thank you to our participating authors for your presentations. Just a little reminder for our online viewers that you will get your e-certificate of participation after accomplishing the customer satisfaction feedback by using the link flashed on your screens and posted in the comments section of this live streaming platform. Coming right up, the top scientific papers under the development category. The 2022 NSAARRD will be right back.
Lahat ay sumayaw, sige walang titigil. Halina't magsaya, sige walang pipigil. Tayo'y sabay-sabay, itaas na ang kamay. Lahat ay sumayaw, sige walang titigil. Nana eyo eyo, nana nana eyo eyo, nana nana eyo eyo, nana nana eyo eyo, nana Simula ng araw ng masaya, tara-tara sumayaw ng pampasigla. Hindi mahalaga anong suot, kahit na gusto, dali-dalian mo na. Sige tayo na't pa-party-party, para ang lahat ay happy-happy. Kahit na anong problema pa, isayaw mo lang, sabayan pa ng ngiti. Hype pa! Sige, sige! Sumayaw ka na. Sige, sige! Sumabay ka lang. Sige, sige! Seksihan mo pa, grabe, daling-dali. Sige, sige! Sumayaw ka na. Sige, sige! Sumabay ka lang. Sige, sige! Seksihan mo pa, tayo'y magsasaya. Lahat ay sumayaw, sige walang titigil. Halina't magsaya, sige walang pipigil. Tayo'y sabay-sabay, itaas na ang kamay. Lahat ay sumayaw, sige walang titigil. Nana eyo eyo, nana nana eyo eyo, nana nana eyo eyo, nana nana eyo eyo, nana Waka wag mo nang pigilan pa. Kung nais sumayaw, wag ka na mahiya. Sigurado na ika'y matutuwa. Talagang nakakabata. Ito ang lahat pwedeng sumali. Kahit na feeling mo hindi ka sexy, basta lagi mong isipin na ang mahalaga ikaw ay masaya. Hype pa! Sige, sige! Sumayaw ka na. Sige, sige! Sumabay ka lang. Sige, sige! Seksihan mo pa, grabe, daling-dali. Sige, sige! Sumayaw ka na. Sige, sige! Sumabay ka lang. Sige, sige! Seksihan mo pa, tayo'y magsasaya. Lahat ay sumayaw, sige walang titigil. Halina't magsaya, sige walang pipigil. Tayo'y sabay-sabay, itaas na ang kamay. Lahat ay sumayaw, sige walang titigil. Nana eyo eyo, nana nana eyo eyo, nana nana eyo eyo, nana nana eyo eyo, nana Lahat ng sexy, itaas ang kamay. Itaas ang kamay. Itaas ang kamay. Lahat ng sexy, itaas ang kamay. Itaas ang kamay. Itaas ang kamay. Tara na't sumayaw, kahit na kilikili mo pawis na. Huwag na mainis pa, lahat masaya. Kaya huwag ka na masungit kung kaya mo mapangit. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, ipakita ang galing sa pagsayaw. Bata man o matanda, may buhok man o wala, ang lahat ay sumigaw. Hayop pa! Lahat ay sumayaw, sige walang titigil. Halina't magsaya, sige walang pipigil. Tayo'y sabay-sabay, itaas na ang kamay. Lahat ay sumayaw, sige walang titigil. Nana eyo eyo, nana 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 Lahat ay sumayaw, sige walang titigil. Halina't magsaya, sige walang pipigil. Tayo'y sabay-sabay, itaas na ang kamay. Lahat ay sumayaw, sige walang titigil. Nana eyo eyo, nana nana eyo eyo, nana nana eyo eyo.
Minsan pwede, minsan hindi. Ganyan ang katayuan ng paglalakbay sa ating bansa at sa iba pang parte ng mundo, dulot ng pabago-bagong pulisiya sa pagtugon sa pandemya. ang tunog ng mga jeep, ang pagdagsa ng mga tao sa pasyalan, ang road trip kasama ang kaibigan at pamilya. Ang sarap magbiyahe nung panahong normal pa, di ba? Huwag mag-alala. Kahit di pwedeng maggala sa ibang lugar, ay mararating pa rin natin sila. Kasabay ng mga kasiyahan sa ating paglalakbay, maging sa pagkaantala nito, mayroong mga programang hindi mo namamalaya na nagpapaunlad sa galing at yaman ng iba't ibang pamayanan na ating pupuntahan. Gamit ang agham at teknolohiya, sinusuportahan ng mga programang ito ang ating mga kababayan. Nagsimula bilang tugon sa pandemya, ang Good Agri-Aqua Livelihood Initiatives Towards National Goals o Galing PICARD ay pinalawak para mas patatagin ang sektor ng agrikultura, aquatica at pangisdaan at likas na yaman sa pagharap nito sa anumang hamon na dala ng panahon, katuwang ang mga lokal na pamahalaan at iba pang ahensya. Tatak ng Galing PICARD ang iba't ibang mga proyekto sa pananaliksik, pagsasanay, pagbabalangkas ng pulisiya, pag-aalay sa mga pamayanan, pamamahagi ng kaalaman at makabuluhang inobasyon sa pagsasaka at pangingisda, at maging ang likas kayang paggamit ng mga sari-buhay. Ito ang Tatak Galing, Galing PICARD. Kaya tara na at samahan niyo kaming tuklasin ang galing ng buhay. Sumama na sa ating lakbay, dito lang sa Lakbay Galing.
Tuklasin ang galing ng buhay, sumabit na sumakay. Eroplano man o bus at jeep, humanda sa paglalakbay. Lakbay galing, lakbay galing. Tuklasin ang kultura sa lakbay galing, lakbay galing. Mula hilaga at kanluran, siksik ito sa kaalaman. Sa may silangan o sa timog, kay rami mong matututunan. Lakbay galing, lakbay galing. Sinangin ang yaman sa lakbay galing, lakbay galing. Bilisan makakapaliwan. Lakbay galing, lakbay galing. Pangkas na't sumama sa
sa bawat higop, lutong at lasap ng lasa mula sa hapagkainan, naisip mo ba kung ano ang pinagmulan o ano ang pinagdaanan bago ito mapunta sa iyong mesa? Isang halimbawa, ang lechon, ang nangunguna sa mga pagtitipon gaya ng fiesta, kasal, kaarawan at iba pang mga pagdiriwang. Bukod sa ginawang pagluluto sa baboy upang maging malasa at malutong ang balat nito, mas malaki ang ginawang trabaho sa pagsisigurado ng mataas at maayos na kalidad ng karne nito. Bukod dito, malaki rin ang pagkakaiba ng paggamit ng native sa komersyal na baboy. Ang pagpapalaki at pagpaparami ng baboy ay isa pang prosesong mahaba at hinaluan ng siyensya. Upang mapalaki ang baboy, kinakailangang malaman kung paano maiiwasan ang sakit, anong tamang pakain para makamit ang nais na timbang, kailan dapat katayin ng baboy, at marami pang iba. Isa pang halimbawa ay ang kamote. Ang kamote ay produkto ng agrikultura na nakalalamang sa ibang lamang ugat sa nilalaman nitong nutrients. Sa katunayan, mayroong 39 na variety ang kamote sa Pilipinas. Ang laman nito ay iba't iba ang kulay at bawat isang kulay ay nakaayon sa nilalaman nitong nutrients. Nasa likod ng bawat produktong agrikultural at pangingisda ang masisipag nating mga magsasaka at mangingisda. Sila ay ating mga bayani na patuloy na nagtatanim, nag-aalaga ng isda at hayop upang may maihain tayo sa ating mga hapagkainan. Sa labas naman ng taniman at alagaan ng isda ay ang ating mga siyentista na patuloy na naghahanap ng mga pamamaraan upang mapataas ang produksyon, matugunan ang problema ng peste at sakit, at masigurado na mataas ang kalidad ng produktong makikita natin sa merkado. Ito ang mga impormasyon na madalas nating isinasantabi at hindi pinagtutuunan ng pansin. Gayunpaman, ito ang mga impormasyon na kailangan nating malaman upang bigyang galang at puri ang mga tao na nagbibigay sa atin ng pagkain sa pang-araw-araw. Ito ang pinakabuod ng inisyatibong pinamagatang Flavors of Science na inilulunsad namin sa DOST card. Kikilitiin namin ang inyong pag-iisip, pati na rin ang inyong panlasa sa mga kaalaman tungkol sa siyensya sa likod ng produksyon ng pagkain. Ibabahagi namin ito sa aming official Facebook at Instagram pages, pati na rin sa aming YouTube channel. May espesyal din kaming ambassador na ipagluluto tayo ng masasarap na mga putahe na hahaluan niya ng sangkap na siyensya. Kaya naman sa susunod ninyong higop, nguya at lasap ng mga iba't ibang lasa, maipagmamalaki mo na alam mo na ang mga pinagmulan ng nasa iyong hapagkainan. Mag-like, follow at subscribe na sa DOSTP card.
Welcome back to the 2022 National Symposium on Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources Research and Development, or NSAARRD. We are now done with the 3 finalist presenters under the research category. Now, let's proceed with the presentation of finalists under the development category. First off, another entry from the Southern Tagalog Agriculture, Aquatic, and the Research, Development, and Extension Consortium, or STARDEC. We have the piloting and commercialization of specialty coffee blends to be presented by Dr. Ruel M. Mojica. Dr. Mojica is the proponent of several research projects on coffee and other agriculture-related technologies with funding from the Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Agricultural Research, or DABAR, and DOST, and international agencies such as United States Agency International Development, Science, Technology, Research, and Innovation for Development, or USAID, and Simplewide Incorporated, a private company in the United States of America who wanted to bring Philippine coffee to their country. Most of his research projects are focused on developing locally developed instruments to improve coffee productivity and coffee processing in the Philippines. One of his most notable accomplishments as a researcher and as an agricultural engineer is his invention of the first vertical coffee roasting machine called Bravura roasting machine, which is also considered as the cheapest roasting machine worldwide. The machine is intended for small-scale processing of coffee, and its affordability benefits for small coffee growers and processors. Dr. Mojica has also spearheaded several extension and commercialization projects to empower local coffee farmers and rural communities. His current projects on technology commercialization aims to increase the income of small coffee farmers and to bring back Philippine coffee to the world market. He is an Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN engineer, and Professor 6 at the Cavite State University. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Dr. Ruel M. Mojica.
Did you know that coffee helps you live longer? According to studies, coffee is being jam-packed with antioxidants. That's why it is considered as one of the healthiest beverages in the world. Blessed day, everyone. My name is Ruel Mojica, and I'm here to present to you the results of our study entitled piloting and commercialization of specialty coffee products. This is in support to Sustainable Development Goal number 1, no poverty, and number 3, good health and well-being. Nowadays, Filipinos have supported the emergence of specialty coffee and third wave coffee. This is evident by proliferation of coffee shops anywhere around the street corners. However, there are limited variants of specialty coffee available in the market. More often than not, the health benefits associated with the commercially available specialty coffee are put into questions. To address the demand of high-quality specialty coffee, the CBSU has developed 3 variants of these products as an offshoot of the basic research conducted during the past years. And there is a need for these products to be tested in the market before reaching its target customers. This project on commercialization of specialty coffee products is expected to provide income-generating opportunities to a number of coffee farmers and coffee business investors. With an aim of commercializing the developed CBSU products, the project intends to facilitate the intellectual property application for the potential IP rights. An intellectual property management awareness training was attended by the members of the project team. The second objective pertains to the nutritional content of each product. The 3 coffee blends were subjected to nutrient content analysis at the Centrotech in Quezon City. Results of the analysis were incorporated in the product labels. Since the output of the project are food products, safe and innovative packaging system was developed following the FDA's revised rules and regulations governing the labeling of prepackaged food products as reference. Profitability analysis was done to determine the economic viability of the developed products. The analysis focused on how the benefits obtained from the individual technology measure against the investment, particularly the project cost. IEC materials were developed to create and build awareness about the products or output that the project intends to advertise and promote. In the pilot testing of the developed products, around 450 participants classified as builders, baby boomers, millennials, and Generation X served as respondents. The last objective of the project was to provide technical assistance to possible technology adopters. Different activities were conducted relative to the adoption of roasting and blending technologies. The next slide sums up the significant outputs of the project, which I am going to elaborate one by one. Intellectual property rights was applied for 4 utility models, namely a process of producing naturally sweetened coffee blend, a process of producing Liberica-based coffee blend, a process of producing antioxidant-enriched coffee blend, and lastly, a general process of producing a specialty coffee blend. The next 3 slides are the developed specialty coffee products, which possess different qualities that made them unique, distinct, and customer-focused. The antioxidant-enriched coffee is a blend that is perfect for health-conscious individuals. The next one is the naturally sweetened coffee, which is perfect for sweet coffee lovers or those who are looking for extra sweetness in their coffee. The third one is the Liberica-based coffee, which is the coffee that is suitable for heavy coffee drinkers or coffee enthusiasts who seek for a new, bold, and unique taste of coffee. In terms of competitive advantage, the products are beneficial in terms of price, health benefits, quality, after-sales service, and local supports. Market acceptability was done to determine if the developed products will be accepted by the potential buyers or coffee consumers. Participants preferred brewed or filtered coffee, instant coffee, specialty coffee, and ready-to-drink coffee. Majority of the respondents consume 1 to 2 cups of coffee per day. 49% of the participants said that they are always drinking coffee after waking up in the morning. Results further revealed that they are willing to pay 50 pesos and below for a cup of coffee. The specialty coffee blends were also evaluated by trained panel. All 4 attributes, namely taste, flavor, aroma, and quality, were all acceptable. More than 90% of the participants recommend all the 3 variants of specialty coffee. The table shows the indicators which summarize the economic viability of the products. The production capacity was assumed at 10 kilograms green coffee beans per batch for each of the products. It can be observed that there are variations in the cost of each coffee blend due to the price of the raw materials used in the production. Among the three products, naturally sweetened blend has the highest sale of 8,800 and net income of 5,720 with the lowest production cost of 77 pesos per 250 grams pack. IEC materials were utilized to spread awareness about the newly developed products. The Facebook page named CBSU Aguinaldo Blend was created where updates were being posted. The specialty coffee products were able to appear, be exposed, and promoted in several television shows and webinars, such as in the TV show Agripreneur of Mr. Jiggy Manikan. CVSU's commitment to fulfill their duties and responsibilities did not falter despite the current pandemic situation. Behind the project are stories of commitment, true and sincere service, and success that led to the new hope for strengthened relationships and new opportunities. The succeeding slides highlight the success stories of the technology adapters. First is the Magallanes Women's Club Multipurpose Cooperative, which is known for their meritorious services to the community. Training was part of the technical assistance given to them. 7 tangible outcomes were acquired after the trainings, namely greater productivity, less need for supervision, boosted morale, severity of mistakes was reduced, procedures were standardized, and operations became efficient. One unit of coffee roaster and 1 unit of coffee grinder was also provided to Mauco to facilitate the development of their own coffee products. On top of that, CBSU also developed and provided 10,000 units of packaging materials for their Muscovado sugar and coffee products. Through this act of service, we may be able to support the sustainability and promotion of their own products. Nothing is going to help the passion of CBSU in helping the coffee farming communities. The Mauco will always be engaged and connected to Cavite State University through the developed naturally sweetened coffee. Because for every 1,000 packs produced of naturally sweetened coffee, around 63 kilograms of Mauco's Muscovado sugar are being utilized, providing them greater income and giving them sure market for their products. The project also wanted to secure a partnership to those interested individuals and companies who will adopt the generated technologies. We have forged our partnership with a local food manufacturing company known as the 22 ProPac Asia Corporation. The institution to industry supply distribution agreement has already been signed and approved by our Board of Regents. Likewise, we were able to secure 3 licensing agreements with 22 ProPac Asia. So on your screen are the 3 fairness opinion reports signed by our dear Secretary, DOST Secretary, Fortunato de la Peña. CBSU being home to NSAARRD has impacted largely by this project. Aside from the additional income that may be derived by the university out of the technology, the enhancement of knowledge for policy formulation was also gained. Through the developed products, coffee lovers could now enjoy the health benefits of coffee. They now have variety of choices. There is an increased awareness on quality coffee, and livelihood opportunities have been provided for many. As a leader of this project, I am pretty confident that this will go far in the near future because of the partnerships that we have established. This project on commercialization of specialty coffee products highlights the impact of blending and roasting technology to adapters such as Mauco and 22 ProPac Asia. This definitely helped improve the economic performance of 2 individual organizations. Consequently, this is a great help to our local coffee farming communities in improving their standard of living. In light of the positive impact of the project, it is rather recommended to replicate the pilot and commercialization experience carried out in this project to other coffee farming communities in the Philippines. Together, let us join hands in helping coffee farming communities in the country. God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mojica. For our live viewers, you may now send your questions via the comment section. Kindly indicate your name and your designation together with your question so we can address you properly. They will be answered by our presenters after addressing the questions from the Board of Judges. With that, let's begin with the questions. May we start with Professor Borromeo?
Thank you very much, Dr. Mojica, from one of the builders and not a coffee lover. Thank you so much for your comprehensive presentation. I'm really impressed of the utility models that had been applied by the project. And economic indicators provided can really entice the local entrepreneurs, especially the local coffee shops. My only question is the nutritional quality for a cup of coffee in the different blends. So thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for the question. So actually, we have this nutritional content analysis. It is done. It was done in Centro Pac at Quezon City. So we included the result of the analysis in the product labels. So it's included also. Actually, ma'am, to give you a little background on how we produce these specialty coffee blends, I have this basic research study together with one of the professors at UP Diliman, Dr. Kerit. So we have found out in our study that the roasting or the antioxidant of coffee is heavily affected by the level of roasts. So the higher the level of roast of coffee, nababawasan po yung antioxidant composition niya. So yung basic research na po yun yung ginamit natin to develop these products.
So it means the cinnamon roast is best than the Italian.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. But actually, medyo ayaw ng ibang coffee drinkers.
Yeah,
kasi
cinnamon.
yeah.
Roast.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
Professor Borromeo. For our next question, may we have Dr. Quinicio?
Good morning again. We always see the packaging and all, no, but no actual samples.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Joke lang. So anyway, so you're going to include in relation to Dr. Barromeo's question, so you're going to include the minerals, vitamins, and to be more specific, hindi ba? Kasi the coffee also contains calcium, potassium, magnesium, yung mga ganon. And then for vitamins, riboflavin, B2, yung mga niacin. So are you going to include this also in your packaging material?
Yes, actually, unfortunately, ma'am, yung basic requirement lang po ng FDA doon. Actually, 7 siya. I think 7 yun. Yun lang po yung na-analyze namin. But in the future, I think maganda po yung suggestion nyo. Since ito nga po, health benefits yung tinitingnan natin. I don't know kung yung level of antioxidants natin ma-measure. But in terms of phenols, pwede po siguro yun. At least, maisama natin sa packaging yung mga ganun po.
Yeah,
so, yes, ma'am.
Because this is more, what do you call this? Advantageous to the consumers, hindi ba? And also, I'm sure you're following the Codex Alimentarius Commission packaging, labeling and packaging, di ba?
Yes,
yung mga ganong guidelines.
Yes,
and what else? So in your economic analysis, do you also include the marketing 2% of the revenue, that's the marketing So, because that is usually included when you do the economic viability of your product. And that is the selling, billing, warehousing. Di ba? You include all those things when you do the economic viability of the product. Do you also include that in your?
Unfortunately, doon sa income na more than 200%, hindi po namin siya naisama yung marketing expenses natin. But
tama po kayo kasi 2 years ago, medyo na-involve po tayo doon sa formulation din ng business, coffee business. Na-involve na rin po tayo. Doon po natin natutunan na tama yung sinasabi ni ma'am. So definitely ma'am, in our extension activities, we can provide information doon sa ating mga technology adapters that we should include the
Yes,
marketing
that's
expenses.
important.
Yes ma'am.
Although it's only 2%, no?
But
that
pag million
can-
na po
yeah,
siya
yeah,
ma'am,
million na
medyo
ano.
ibang usapan na din po. Opo.
So how many packs per day kaya ang pwedeng ma-produce, something like that?
Opo.
I mean,
Ang isa pang maganda po dito sa project is that yun pong roaster na binigay natin ay with the permission of DA-BAR. Yun din pong technology, local technology natin na na-develop. So yun din po yung ginagamit nila sa production ng kanilang kape. So it's the roasting and the blending technologies.
okay, thank you. Good work.
Salamat po. Thank you po.
Thank you very much, Dr. Quinicio. Now, may we have Dr. Monleon?
Good day. Congratulations, Dr. Mojica.
Thank you, sir.
You are a winner and your team already earned the recognition. Ito yung tanong ko kanina doon sa isang presentation under the research category, yung traceability. Siguro it's better to include in your future study yung traceability so that you can identify possible adulterants.
Yeah.
Nang hindi lang yung sa inyo, so that we can compete with other, pero trade secret yan mga yan eh.
Yes.
Roasting
sir.
time,
Aha.
di ba? Trade secret
Even
na
yung
mga yan.
percentage, sir, noong composition noong beans.
Oo.
Yeah.
Ano yun
It's
eh,
part
trade
of the
secret.
IP.
Oo.
Yeah.
Pero ito, how would you compete along with the multinational? Di ba? May mga sikat talaga na multinational coffee shops.
Yes.
Pero meron kayo doon kaninang nakita ko yung international partnership,
Yes, sir.
So, I'm expecting, and ganun nga rin ang sabi ko ni ma'am, baka sana may sample para...
Sir, actually, to tell you honestly, pinag-usapan namin ni Dr. Miriam kanina na actually meron po akong dala, but sabi ko, it's not appropriate to give samples to the audience or to the... So, next sa November 10, sir, sigurado pong matitikman niyo.
Okay,
Tatlong
sige.
variants. Sige po.
Show.
Sorry.
Show,
Yes,
show.
ma'am. Definitely on November 10. Pwede pong iserve natin during our anniversary ng Picard.
So, okay, thank you. I'm done.
Thank you very much, Dr. Monleon. Moving on, may we now have Dr. Batalon.
Thank you, and good morning again. Congratulations, Dr. Ruel Mojica, for this very impressive project. No? Yeah, you have actually accomplished a lot and very significant accomplishments actually for that matter. Well, my question actually is on the pilot testing. You have involved actually 450 participants and you have selected the different group
Yes,
of your participants. What is the basis for the selection of the participants?
Good. So actually, medyo limited yung aming, due to the restriction of the pandemic, sir. So we have selected the participants na nandun sa university. But we see to it na meron siyang estudyante, yung varying ages niya andoon. So ang ages ng participants namin is from 25 to, I think 20 to 65 years old. Then kinategorize namin siya according to doon sa mga category na yon. Since actually dapat mas marami, sir, kaya lang limited yung restriction natin dahil time ng pandemic. So medyo 450 lang yung nakuha namin ng mga participants. That's why medyo, but until now, sir, tinetest pa rin po namin yung mga products. And maganda po dito, nakakakuha kami ng mga feedbacks from them. Yung iba po talaga, medyo ayaw nitong antioxidants. But tama si ma'am, pag na-explain yung health benefits doon, medyo ay, ganun po pala. So medyo nagbabago yung preference po nila on that. So yun po, sir.
So all of the 450 participants participated in the, the testing or
Yes, sir. Yes,
sa
sir.
coffee taste.
Yes, sir.
determining the coffee taste and other parameters.
Yes, sir.
How about when you compare this, di ba meron tayong yung cupping,
Yeah.
mga professionals ito, that they are really trained,
Yes,
to do
sir.
that. Ginawa din to.
Yes, sir.
And then how do you compare the results of those cuppers, by the cuppers and the participants that you have?
Apo. Actually, sir, iba yung parameters na tiningnan ng mga cuppers natin kasi ito yung sinusunod nila dito, yung SCAA na guidelines, yung Specialty Coffee Association of America. So doon po natin natetest kung siya ay specialty, premium, or gourmet coffee. Unlike dito sa mga participants natin, it's more on acceptability siya. So, doon po kasi ginegrade talaga nung international cupping expert natin kung ano yung rating noong, actually it's the cup quality ng coffee. So, pag 80% and above, yun po natin masasabi, or 85% and above, specialty yung coffee mo. Yeah. Yes, sir. Tama, sir. Yes, sir. Then doon sa question, doon sa question ni Ma'am kanina, natuwa ako doon sa question ni Ma'am, how are you going to determine kapag iinom ka ng kape, anong variety yan? The international cupping expert, ma'am, kaya po nilang i-detect yun. Even the flavors ng ating kape, kung siya may pistachio flavor, so on and so forth, nutty flavor, kaya po nila yan. So, yes, ma'am. Trained po sila. Actually, may share ko na rin po. Sorry about this. Itong yung ating Grand Barista Champion, si Sir Harris Conlins, medyo kaibigan po natin. We're doing partnership doon sa research na ginagawa natin. Recently, nanalo yung ating Laguna Liberica sa international competition sa Korea. And nagkaroon po tayo ng opportunity to partner with him. Sabi namin, dapat ma-increase natin yung production ng ating Liberica since marami yung demand sa kanya, especially noong na-promote natin siya sa Korea. So we will keep on working with them para po sa improvement ng coffee industry in the Philippines and again to bring the Philippine coffee in the world market.
Okay, thank you. I have the last question. How do you plan to, kasi last slide may about your replication of the success of the project.
Yes,
How do you plan for this?
Actually, nasimula na po natin, sir. I introduced the technology to Ma'am Amy Bagsit of DOST4 and meron na po tayong project ngayon yung kung familiar po kayo dun sa DOS track. TRAC stands for Technology in the Region for the Upscaling of Community Knowledge. So ito yung platform po na mobile food processing hub ng DOST wherein yung atin pong roasting and blending technology, siya po yung pilot nitong ating mobile food processing hub at nakadeploy po siya sa Magallanes, Cavite. So right now, yung Tuwa Coffee Growers Association, nakapag-develop na rin po sila ng sarili nilang blends through this DOST facility. So hopefully, sir, yung ibang mga funding agencies natin and even sa other areas, may deploy din natin itong technologies and through the support of PICARD, DA-BAR, and other funding agencies. Sana po magtuloy-tuloy. Thank you po. Yes, sir. Salamat po. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Dr.
you po.
Batalon.
Thank you.
And to our Board of Judges, thank you very much. We have incoming questions from our live viewers. However, due to the limited time, we have to proceed on with the next presenter. Don't worry because those with unanswered questions will be forwarded to Dr. Mojica. For our next paper, from Western Mindanao Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources Research and Development Consortium, or WestMARDEC, we have Dr. Moises Glenn G. Tangalin to present their paper on establishment of Zampen native chicken breeding population with improved egg production and growth performance. Dr. Tangalin is the Director for Research and Development of Josefina H. Cerilla State College System in Zamboanga del Sur and leads the implementation of 5 R&D projects funded by DOST Picard, 4 of which are on Zampen native chicken. He also served as a resource person in Zampa native chicken management and protocols. Among his other roles are environmentalist and advocate of environmental awareness and protection, professor in animal science, commissioned officer of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, and a reserve command of the Philippine Army with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. His R&D outputs are still being utilized by many farmers and businessmen in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Dr. Moises Glenn G. Tangalin.
Magandang araw sa ating lahat at magandang buhay mga kasampen. Today I will be presenting to you the R&D outputs and the story of Sampin native chicken in Zamboanga Peninsula with the title Establishment of Sampin native chicken, Breeding Population with Improved Egg Production and Growth Performance. This is funded by DOST PICARD, monitored by WISMARRD, and Western Mindanao State University is our partner agency. Validating the potentials of the improved Sampin native chickens as a source of livelihood, coupled with the desire to fast-track the production and commercialization of the genetically improved native chicken, the Western Mindanao State University initiated a functional collaboration with J.H. Cerulles State College, which centered on the production of Sampin native chicken breeders and growers in large quantities. The transfer of the technology in Sampin native chicken management and protocols is a vital component of the project. The goal of this project is to establish a breeding population of Sampin native chicken with improved egg production and growth performance while maintaining adaptability to the natural environment. The objectives is to ensure supply and availability of quality Sampin native chicken, promote adoption of Sampin native chicken in the Mindanao regions, and 10% improvement egg production and increase in growth performance. The study utilized the experimental design. There were 10 families established with 6 heads per family, 1:5 male-female ratio, using a total of 60 breeders in J.H. Cerulles State College, Dumiag campus. The methods used were as follows: selection of the breeding stocks, setting up of the experimental birds to the respective family, feeding and free range management, incubation, hatching, brooding and growing management. We have also the health management practices and of course, gathering and analyzing of data. The results and discussion of this study. So the first table is the production performance. So the data gathered are as follows: average egg per hen per year, viability, hatchability, fertility, egg weight, point of lay, and we have the sexual maturity. So the results showed significant increase except the sexual maturity of the birds, that is 4 months in the previous and in the present study. So in the egg production, from 105 eggs per hen per year to 117. So the next table is the growth performance. So the data gathered is the average weight at 120 days for both female and male. We have also average at weight at 70 days, 45 days, 21 days, and the average weight of the day-old chicks in grams. So the result showed significant increase in all data gathered compared to previous studies. So aside from the growth and production performance, so we have also project gains and outputs based on the 6 Ps. So for the publication, we have one scientific journal prepared. We have also IEC materials prepared for breeding and production. And also we have training module prepared. So the patents and copyright. So IEC materials, manuals, and posters developed ready for copyright. So The project also produced the following products: 2,027 hardened chicks, 183 breeders, 434 growers, 282 brooding chicks, and our adapters farm produced 2,926 hardened chicks and growing stocks. So the people and services, we conducted 7 trainings to 30 technical personnel and also to 100 farmer entrepreneurs or adapters. So for the policies, the project leader attended and presented to executive municipal meeting planning with LGU officials, municipal mayor, head of the offices in support to the policy of Sampi Native Chicken as the one town, one product of LGU Dumiag, Zamboanga del Sur. So places and partnership. So we established partners with the following organizations: local government unit 6, cooperatives 3, farmer adapters, businessmen 53, and we have government agencies 6. So based on the findings and the data gathered, so we come up with this conclusion that the pure line Sampi Native Chicken raised in Dumiag campus attained increased egg production from 105 to 117 eggs per hen per year and improved growth performance significantly under organized breeding and selection with preserved phenotypic characteristics. Sampi Native Chicken has also demonstrated adaptability to natural environmental conditions with premium quality and predictable performance. Hence, it is suitable for small and large-scale native poultry production. From the conclusion we have formulated, so we come up with these recommendations. The newly developed Pure Land Sampi Native Chicken is highly recommended for small and large-scale native poultry production because of its premium quality, predictable performance, and adaptability to natural environmental conditions. It is also recommended that Sampi Native Chicken product lines be developed to increase availability to consumers to sustain demand for Sampi Native Chicken in the region and in the entire country. So we have also come up or developed best practices that we applied in the farm. So we will be presenting to you as well as the adapters in Zamboanga Peninsula and other regions in the country. So some of our best practices, we conduct orientation to all walk-in adapters who are interested in Sampi Native Chicken production. We compound our own feed ration. We established and planted feed supplements like Madre de Agua, Mulato, Azola, Carabao grass, Arachis pintoy, and banana. We also prepared natural supplements like oregano, aloe vera, tiling demonyo, and other herbs. We also process and use natural dewormer from papaya seeds and betel nut. So our adapters coming from Pagadian City, we have also Camiguin Island, we have also from Osamis City, Mati, Zamboanga del Sur, Oroquitas City, Plaridel, Osamis Occidental, Davao City, Batangas City, Lanao del Sur, Surigao, and most of our adapters coming from Zamboanga del Sur and neighboring provinces in the region. These are the results of our R&D project and the story of Sampi Native Chicken breeding population. Our R&D outputs was utilized by our businessmen and clients, and converting R&D outputs into cash. Those who have area interested in raising Sampi Native Chicken, just contact us and the OSTP card Isip-isip na po kayo. This is a livelihood option in everyone in the region or even in the entire country. Mga kasampin, have a great day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tangalin, for that presentation. For our online live viewers, you may now send your questions via the comment section. Kindly indicate your name and your designation together with your question so we can address you properly. With that, let's begin the questions. Let us start with Professor Borromeo.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dangalin. Thank you very much, Dr. Dangalin. You have showed us your best practices in the farm to raise the sampen chicken. And I'm very much interested in the use of your indigenous materials in the communities as sources of your feeds and minerals. Like, have you analyzed, incorporate, you, of course, you incorporated them in the ration, right? And have you analyzed them, the ration, containing all those indigenous sources? Because I want to know, did they contribute really to the growth performance of the sampen chicken? And then I didn't see the economic indicators, especially the cost-benefit ratio of raising the sampen chicken to encourage us, because you're encouraging us to be part of the promotion of the sampen chicken growing. So we would like to know if I will be earning. Okay, so I'd like to know the economic indicators. So thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. The time is limited, so the cost and return analysis can be mentioned today. So the what we have done is locally preparing the locally feed rations, wherein not all are considered, shall we say, organic, but we used only those available in the community in mixing it with commercial feeds, because there are times that we don't have available local feedstuffs. So in mixing, for example, the different feed ingredients, we also computed the protein content of those, the CP of our formulation used in our chickens.
Okay.
Natural supplements like oregano, the betel nut for dewormer and papaya. We have also conducted studies, the different levels that is being used in the deworming of our sampen native chicken.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Professor Borromeo. For our next question, may we have Dr. Quinicio?
Yeah, excuse me. The technology here is highly recommended for small and large-scale poultry production. But of course, as Dr. Borromeo said, that you need to show the financial viability and profitability considering the scale of production or operation. That's very important. And then the objectives include the establishment of sampen native chicken breeding population with 10% improvement, no, in
Yes,
the
po.
performance. But what is your benchmark? Because you showed previous results and then the present results. So those previous results were based from your previous studies
Yes,
or
ma'am.
other studies?
Piloting the sampen native chicken in our area and also in Wimso. So that is our what we call the basis for our the result of that phenotypic characteristics, including the production and growth performance. Yun po ang basis namin in our previous studies in order for us to have the 10% increase in egg production and also in growth performance. Yun po ang result ng previous studies namin, WIMSO, in our school or
So
college.
maybe you need to indicate that.
Yes, ma'am. Yung previous, yun po ang basis namin in increasing the 10% egg production, including the growth performance.
And then also the basis of the other technologies that you adopted, like yung deworming, yung ano pa ba to, egg collection, yung health management practices. I think you also need to indicate kung ano yung naging basis mo from doon sa ginamit mong technologies na yon. Kasi basta diretso lang, hindi namin alam.
Kasi po yung previous study, pang ano na po ito, pang dalawang study, kasi yung previous namin, so the purification was done at the Western Mindanao State University in Zamboanga City. Then we pilot tested in Dumingag. So after the pilot testing, then we get almost similar result with the Western Mindanao University and also the Bureau of Correction. We're in one of the project site in Dumingag. So we have the same results, and with that results, we conducted another study funded by PICARD in order to establish a breeding population to improve 10% on the growth performance, including the egg production. Kaya yun ang basis po namin to having this kind of study po.
So you were able to produce 183 breeders, 121 growers, blah, 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 no?
Yes,
and
po.
a total of 2,613 yata yon na mga
Yung sa adapters po, ma'am.
Oo. So what is the duration to produce this much population?
We only based that on the 2 years. Having, for example, we started the project 2018, then 2020 po natapos yung project. So during that period, yun po ang na-produce natin with the adapters farm. And now, mayroong another project that is the promoting na ng Sampinative chicken in the entire region in Zamboanga Peninsula and other regions in Mindanao. Mas dumami na po yung production namin ngayon. So we just finished that project still funded by the UST
The project is very good, but I think you need to include more specific information, like kung gusto ko nito, makakaproduce ako nito. Kung kailangan ko ng ganito, this is how much I need to for the financial analysis ni mo na i-include mo. Parang ganun.
Can I mention some, ma'am? For example, in Dumingag campus, we are not selling chicks, but we are selling hardened chicks at 150. 150 po yung isang per head. So in that 150, meron po kaming 88 pesos na profit, and we will be having an ROI of 40%. For our slaughter, we will be selling at 350. So yung 350 po, meron tayong profit na 107, more or less nasa ganyang So nasa 4% po yung ROI. Then if we will be selling, for example, the Sampinative chicken ready to lay, no? Those are the breeders, which the cost is 600 pesos. So meron tayong 170 na profit po doon, yung ROI nasa 43% po. So yun po ang computation namin. But if you will go on value adding, for example, yung 250, kasi meron ng restaurant na selling or growing the chickens and use that as the recipe. So one whole chicken, that is 1 kilogram, quarter po yun. So kung bibili tayo sa labas, live, that is 250 pesos. If that will be cooked, value adding na po, i-divide then quarter, per quarter, the minimum is 150. So maging 600 po yun, isang manok. So malaki po. So you will be having at least mga 200 to 250 pesos profit per 1 kilogram or 1 head of chicken. So yun na po ang mga ginamit sa mga adapters namin. They have already their own farm, then they have their own restaurant. So yung isa po, yung kaya po niya magkatay ng 25 to 30 heads per day. So kung meron kang 200, so meron kang at least 20 heads na, meron kang 20 times 4,000 a day, no? Yung sa manok lang yun. So, pero in his research, kaya mag-consume ng 70 to 80 heads per day. Pero the production of his farm, enough lang to slaughter 20 to 30 heads a day. So na-visit na po nila ni Sir yung mga adapters natin doon. So they are now having a business using the Sampin native chicken coming from our farm. And we monitored those mga breeders natin dahil nagpo-post sila. No? So we have already our organization in Region 9 and we have also a group chat wherein we shared our good practices and yung iba nga naging consultant na. Yung una, nagtatanong lang sa akin, ngayon naging consultant na sa mga cooperative. So isa natin, nagbibinta ng, when I asked them, ilan na po yung nabinta mo? So 3,000 heads, hardened chicks. Kasi yung hardened, makagain tayo or profit ng 143%. Mas malaki yung profit if you will be selling the hardened chicks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Quinicio. Now may we have Dr. Monleon.
Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Congratulations, Dr. Tangalen. You are already a winner.
Thank you, sir.
I need to still ask some questions for clarification and verification of your report. We are after the economic parameter. Let's say, may I verify again your production cost per, let's say, per hardened chick? Magkano yung production cost?
Nasa 87, sir.
87?
Ay, ang production cost per head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Per head.
So sa ano natin,
And how much you are selling?
150 pesos po.
150?
Oo, yung hardened chicks natin, 150. And yung expense,
Production cost?
Yes, yung production cost natin ay aabot ng 61.74.
Ilan yung markup?
61. Yung income po natin dyan ay by selling 150, 88.96. Kaya magkaroon tayo ng 143% ROI.
Masyadong mataas yata yun. Mahabulin tayo ng concerned agency niyan. Makakameron tayo dapat ng SRP. But anyway, another dito, in your abstract, attained increased egg production and improved growth. How would you position your Sampen as a product because of genetic correlation, di ba? Reproduction and growth rate, usually, they are negatively correlated. Parehas mababa yung growth rate and egg production.
So yung target natin po na 10%, from 105 egg per hen per year, nag-target tayo ng 115, but we surpassed that. Kaya mayroong 11.48% increase. So from 105, naging 117. So yung target natin 10, sumobra po ng konti. So 11.43 ata percent increase.
How about the growth rate?
So the growth rate, hindi rin masyadong malaki, but at least all of the data taken, tumataas din ng at least yung umaabot din ng 10% yung iba.
Pero maliit pa rin yung inyong... Kaya lamang you are saying that you are earning because you are selling it higher.
Kasi harden na po yun. So we are not selling chicks kasi sayang din ang for example, if that will be placed sa mga farmers na hindi pa masyadong magaling mag-alaga, baka mamamatay po yun. Kasi the most critical stage in the life cycle of the bird is yung brooding stage. So after the brooding stage, i-harden na po namin. So that is now 150 pesos per head. And that is now ready for to be placed in their growing area.
Okay. How about this? Your scientific explanation. Reproduction is a limiting factor. How would you improve such limiting factor?
The reproduction, for example, for example, in the egg production, so the mongrel chicken or native mongrel chicken, nasa less than 105, no? It's hard also to increase, high increase in egg production and also both. So kasi yun, mayroong ibabalance yun. But in the proper natural selection in breeding and selection, if that is properly selected, I think those limiting factors will also be addressed. So we are doing natural breeding and selection, proper selection of the good layers, and that will be used in identifying, and we also teach that to our adapters how to choose good quality layers as part of the breeding protocols namin po.
Thank you, Dr. Tanggalin. I'm done.
Thank you po, Dr. Monleon. Moving on, may we have Dr. Batalon?
Thank you, and good morning again, and congratulations, Dr. Tanggalin.
Thank you, sir.
For this very nice project. No, actually, Sampen program has reached already a lot of areas, especially in some Zamboanga Peninsula, and you have already accomplished a lot also. So marami na nakikinabang dito sa ating programa.
Yes po.
But ang lahat na narinig natin right now today are all positive, no? All good news about the Sampen chicken. But I would like to ask you about the challenges, the problems that you encountered during the implementation of the project, and how do you solve these issues or mga concerns, problems? Thank you.
Okay, one of the problems encountered, yung sa aming part, yung matagal po yung procurement. Siguro lahat ng government may problema na ganyan. And at the first implementation of the project, kakaunti pa lang yung mga forages and other supplements na pwede namin gamitin for our Sampen native chicken. So as we go on, naging at least nakatulong din yung mga feed supplements, especially in the production of animals. The first bulk in the poultry, especially in poultry production, yung pinakataas ng production cost is yung feeds. Second is yung availability of, especially when we conducted this study during pandemic, yung pagkuha namin ng adjuvanted vaccine from Cebu, because we found out that it is really very effective. So mahirap ang pag-shift. So we just use the locally available NCD vaccine from the supplier. And also sa natin, sa mga adapters, yung problema, those who have a capital and an area, pumunta doon kasi narinig nila. So at this time, we are not selling anymore our technology, but they are coming to us. No? Every week, meron talaga akong nag-o-orient doon, no? Walk-in orientation. So yung problem is, nag-start na sila, then pinapuntahan ko sa mga tauhan ko doon, try to visit and give some advice on how to, especially yung health management practices. Yung iba, sabi nila, hindi na kami nagbakuna dahil mayroon kaming sekreto, sunrok sa tubig, then once na nag-outbreak, ubos lahat yung manok nila. So now, parang nag-ano na sila sa mga protocol natin. Especially, pag malaki na yung project nila, we conduct seminars. So ngayon, meron na tayong DOST Zamboanga del Norte, tapos na po, DOST SOAR, tapos na yung Zamboanga del Norte. Meron tayong schedule sa mga reservist at saka army, yung magre-retire na, meron na tayong schedule sa training. Yung Cagayan de Oro, Region 10, tumatawag na naman sa akin. And also our congresswoman, who is also a graduate of UPLB, Business Management. So ito na, ipopromote na namin. So 2 business na kami nag-usap doon that we will promote in the entire Zamboanga del Sur through the municipality. Parang siya na po mag-funds doon. Then we will be having the technical assistance to them. So yun lang po, mga problems. Minor na po yung iba. Ang kailangan din, dapat yung mga adapters natin, this is my suggestion to them, do not start production of your Sampen native chicken unless meron kayong mga supplements. Azola, Madre de Agua, in other forages that can be to supply the at least mga 50% from the forages. Kasi ang Sampen native chicken is a good forager. Mas magaling pa po ito sa grass cutter kasi yung grass cutter, yung leaves lang makuha. Itong manok natin pati yung roots kakainin.
Paano, supply?
Supply ng...
malaki ang demand no, for...
Yes, sir.
So yung supply natin ng sampen.
Itong ginagawa namin, sir, as of this moment, we have a group chat. So lahat ng breeders at growers adapters natin na nag-sign ng memorandum transfer agreement between us and them. So meron tayong group chat. So iti-text namin, Zamboanga del Norte, DOST, kailangan ng 800 heads. So kung sino yung merong available doon, mag-ano-ano na lang kami. So madali lang doon, yung mga best practices nila, isi-share nila. Then every time, so they will be asking us or staff whether anong gagawin nito, kailan mag-vaccine, anong gagawin pag merong troubleshooting seminars was also conducted, especially yung malaking organization. So pupunta sila doon, so we will conduct troubleshooting like the Department of Agrarian Reform as part of our partner. Doon sila pumunta, just troubleshooting, no? So yun po ang mga best practices na part sa ating mga protocol po.
Thank you very much, Dr. Batalon. Thank you, Dr. Tangalin, and to our judges. So we have to proceed to the next presenter due to the limited time, but don't worry for our online live viewers, because those with unanswered questions will be forwarded to Dr. Tangalin. And the last, but definitely not the least, our third finalist under the development category, from Cagayan Valley Agricultural and Aquatic Resources Research and Development, or NSAARRD, we have Ms. Vanessa Joy F. Calderon to present their paper titled Enhancement and Commercialization of Developed Mung Bean-Based Food Products in Cagayan Valley. Ms. Calderon is the project leader of the Agri-Based Development Developed Processed Products Technology Business Incubator, or ADEPT TBI, making it the first TBI in DA Regional Field Office 2. Apart from her research in mung bean, she is involved in the development and improvement of the DA Cagayan Valley Research Center, promising peanut and soybean, and the development and improvement of suitable packages of technologies for legume production. She also spearheads the development of peanut, soybean, and mung bean food products, including the overall improvement and quality of its processing technology. Currently, she is in charge in the overall operation and implementation of High-Value Crops Development Program, Research for Development of Legumes project of DA Cagayan Valley Research Center. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Ms. Vanessa Joy F. Calderon.
From puro man's meat to being one of the Cagayan Valley's champion commodity, enhancement and commercialization of developed mung bean-based food products in Cagayan Valley. Research and development is essential to attain the objective of producing quality and affordable food to the Filipino consumers. With this, the Department of Agriculture, Cagayan Valley Research Center, initiated the development of the mung bean brand. This project aims to serve as a value-adding activity to mung bean farmers in the region and their effort to sustain their annual production of 6,869 metric tons, or equivalent to 112.74% sufficiency level. That is focusing merely on quality seed production. By increasing the value of the said raw materials and the commercialization of the product line, it is inevitable that the farmers and the processors' income will increase as well. Currently, the mung bean product line has 4 individual products. We have the instant ginisang munggo, wherein it only requires 5 minutes of boiling and contains small packet of dried malunggay, mushroom, amaranth or dakulitis, or any squash blossom to complete your crave for traditional variant. On the other hand, the instantness of mung bean noodles is the healthy substitute to the popular instant noodles. It was concocted for the people who are always on the go but seek for a healthier option. Meanwhile, the vacuum-fried mung bean sprouts is an ideal snack for children and can also be utilized as feeding meal toppings. And lastly, the Kabatuan's fried fresh mung bean sprouts. The project aims to conduct a market research on mung bean food products. Second is to improve the processing and packaging technology for mung bean products, to develop a business model for potential takers engaged in mung bean processing business and product commercialization, and to establish the financial viability and profitability analysis of the developed products. And these are the materials and methods we've conducted for the project. In order to properly produce, commercialize, and transfer these products to its technology takers, the following activities were conducted to achieve a specific objective. First is the market research, wherein we've utilized two approaches. In the qualitative approach, focus group discussion was conducted. 3 groups of panelists, namely the Generation X and Baby Boomers, the Millennial Generation, and the Generation Z. For the instant mung bean soup, the panelists liked the instantness of the product as well as its post-consumption qualities such as aroma, texture, and flavor. The millennial generation was specifically concerned on the product label and packaging of the product. They want to see the serving suggestions, nutritional facts, and the tagline of the products. Other suggestions includes the indication of the best before date and the mode of weight to show the volume of the product. When it comes to the instant mung bean noodles, the participants think that the green is a good color, thus it is suitable for the product lines. Participants also suggested that for the label, graphic illustrations, particularly product pictures, should portray honest representation of the product. Just like in the instant mung bean soup, all necessary product information should be included in the label content. Meanwhile, in the vacuum-fried mung bean sprouts, participants feel that the aroma is lacking and the general mouthfeel is gritty and dry. The flavor is acceptable but needs further improvement, and the price is appropriate for the product quality but not with the quantity. On the quantitative approach, market surveys conducted with 60 participants from Santiago City serve as the survey respondents. Quantitative market research for the instant mung bean soup shows that the majority of the participants' first impression of the product is that it is not to be considered as soup because it is thick consistency and it's nearer in the form and taste to be comparable to ginisang munggo. Thus, the instant ginisang munggo is more appropriate name for the product. Furthermore, respondents are willing to pay for the price of 35 to 41 pesos per pack, which means that the product is in the right costing, which is 35 pesos. Market survey result from the instant mung bean noodles says that there is a need to improve the product quality since the participants are willing only to pay 22 to 26 pesos per pack for each quality, and there is a need for improvement on the flavor of the product. Participants for the vacuum-fried mung bean sprout have some reservations on the packaging of the product since they prefer smaller packaging portions. They also prefer longer vacuum-fried sprouts and shall undergo more refining process since the participants are willing to pay for the product as 45 to 60 pesos per pack. It is much lower than the product costing for the established price of the product. Various packaging materials were tested to identify their shelf life period. The mung bean brand was also registered to the Intellectual Property Office to secure its intellectual property rights. The product was also submitted to the SGS Philippines for the nutritional analysis that shall be included in its revised label and packaging. Just recently, the product is also halal certified by the Alliance of Halal Integrity in the Philippines, or the AHIP, and issued FDA license to operate. The certificate of product registration is also being processed in partnership with DTI. In order to gain competitive edge among commercialized counterparts, the researchers submitted samples product facts to a licensed nutritional dietitian. According to the comparative result, The product provides more of all the nutrients, which includes dietary fiber, sugar, and protein compared to the other brands, supporting the notion that it is a healthy substitute. And to sustain the product quality and food safety, mung bean seed samples produced by the processors and utilized in the processing of the product were also submitted to the Bureau of Plant Industry Satellite Pesticide Analytical Laboratory in Baguio City. And results shows that samples is within the acceptable pesticide residue level. In response to the Philippine Technology Transfer Act of 2009, the DARFO2 crafted the Technology Transfer and Entrepreneurial Assistant Development Process, which aims to introduce and transfer government-generated technology for free to farmer cooperative and associations or FCAs. The mung bean brand was successfully transferred to the farmers, landowners, and workers or the Flow of Pari-Ir Agriculture Cooperative, and this was supported by the local government unit of Cabatuan, Isabela through a memorandum of agreement signed in last June 2020. The cooperative was capacitated through the conduct of different trainings in partnership with the other government and private institutions. The potential of the product and aggressiveness of the technology takers paved the way in awarding of the amount of 2.5 million mung bean sprouting facility to the cooperative from the High Value Crops Field Operation Division of the DARFO2 to address the business sustainability. With this, the cooperative is now in its full bloom operation and has already produced 69,000 packs of mung bean food products and 960 kilograms of fresh mung bean sprouts. Majority of the products are procured by the Department of Education and the Provincial Social Welfare and Development or PSWD. The team also established the financial viability and profitability analysis to attract the other potential investor for the product. The said analysis was divided into 3 enterprises for the potential takers to have an option on the enterprise to venture, all of which has a benefit cost ratio of more than 1, indicating the production of the product line is viable and profitable. With the current implementation of this technology commercialization project and the plan for its outscaling, the DA research team, the DA Bar, the Flow of Pari-Ir Agriculture Cooperative, and the other partner stakeholders will continuously do our best in providing a catalyst in connecting the public and quality food product research output, and most importantly, improving the ani at kita, one farmer or one FCA at a time. Have a good day every day, because in DA, every day is Mundo Day.
Thank you very much, Ms. Calderon. For our live viewers, you may now send your questions via the comment section. Kindly indicate your name and your designation together with your question so we can address you properly. With that, let's begin with the question and answer round. May we start with Professor Borromeo?
Very much, Miss Joy. Okay. So most of the recommendations given through the FGD results were also my recommendations. My question is, what is the mung bean variety that was used? Is it only one? And then I hope you can utilize our traditional varieties ang mung bean because they are now no longer found. Most of our mung bean varieties available are from abroad. So I would really like to encourage the use of these traditional varieties in your area. And I hope you did analyze the actual product and then That's the time you compare it to the commercial available product. So that's my question. Thank you very much.
Yung mga varieties po na ginamit natin, usually, ang source po ng ating source ng raw material po sa ating mung bean ay yung mga tinatanim din po ng ating mga farmers sa Cabanatuan and San Mateo. So, kaya po kami nag-come up dito sa product na ito kasi ang San Mateo po ay at saka yung Cabanatuan Isabel ay nagtatanim po ng mga dating inintroduce na po natin na improved variety po, Philippine. Develop po siya. Yung isa po is yung Pag-asa 7 or the UPL MG7 developed by the Institute of Plant Breeding and another is yung BPI MG9. Yun po ay develop naman po ng Bureau of Plant Industry. So, yung mga pinoproduce po at ginagamit po natin ng mga raw materials po natin sa pag-process ng munggo po ay locally bred po ng ating mga breeders po dito sa Pilipinas. And then, yung second question po is, yung mga products po natin ay, yes po, meron po kaming partner na dietitian, nutritionist para po i-compare po yung mga na-develop po nating products dun po sa commercialized products po natin. Yun po. Thank you po.
I thought you sent them to SGS?
Okay po. Thank you po, Professor Borromeo.
Thank you po.
For our next question, may we have Dr. Quinicio.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Thank you for your presentation. One of your objectives is to improve the packaging technology, right?
Yes po.
So in your, do you also follow the codex or food?
Yes po ma'am. Nakipag-partner po kami with DTI in terms po sa packaging. So yung mga ginamit po natin, DTI actually and DOST, so yung mga ginamit po natin, based din po dun sa agreements po ng mga comments po nila sa amin po.
Yeah, kasi yung Codex Alimentarius Commission, that's more or less international, that we are also adapting in the Philippines.
Yes po.
So that includes also the labeling and packaging. So in your labeling, doon sa bago ninyong packaging, naka-include na ba yung nutritional?
Yes, ma'am. Yung mga nutrition facts po, naka-include na po. Yes, ma'am.
Tapos, if the commercialization of this mung bean will be adopted by the co-ops, di ba? Kasi that's one of your objectives then, or other investors, will they be assured of the good quality mung bean? Kasi hindi ba there are two types that we have in the Philippines yung green at saka yung yellow.
Ay, yes.
What are you using, yung green?
Yung green po, kasi mostly po yun po yung tinatanim po nila doon sa area po. So, para po ma-ensure natin yung quality ng beans, yung group po, yung Flow of Pari Cooperative, kinapacitate po natin sila. Nag-conduct po tayo ng mga different trainings po. Isa po dyan yung good agricultural practices para po ma-ensure po kung paano nila i-produce yung ating mga raw materials na good quality po talaga yung gagamitin. And at the same time, yung sa food safety din po. And yung sa yellow po kasi ma'am, hindi masyadong ginagamit doon sa amin. Kaya more on the green sila, tsaka yung siling. Iba po kasi yung siling doon sa Kulabo. Yung shiny po, tsaka yung sa Kusap or Kulabo. So ang majority po na ginagamit nila yung pinoproduce po ng mga farmers po natin doon, which is yun din po yung mga pinomote natin through doon sa mga previous project natin with Picard and NSAARRD na mga na-develop po doon sa, dito sa atin na locally bred.
These are all food grade materials.
Yes,
no?
ma'am. Opo.
So, yung kasi nakikita ko minsan na imported na mung beans, malalaki sila But ours is yung maliliit. Can we improve on that?
Yes po. Siguro po sa tulong po ng Institute of Plant Breeding. Sila po kasi yung nagbe-breed ng mga mung bean varieties po natin. Yes po. Pwede po namin i-feedback sa kanila na
But you have not started doing this in your area?
Yung sa breeding po, hindi po. We are not capable of breeding po ng mung bean.
So ang ginagawa lang po namin, ang part lang po namin sa crop improvement is kung may mga bagong varieties, kami po yung nagtitest po sa amin. So mga adaptability trials po siya. And then kung ano yung maganda dun sa location po namin, yun po yung mga pinopromote po namin sa mga farmers. Opo. Pero yung sa mga malalaki po, hindi pa po namin kayang mag-breed po ng munggo.
I was surprised, ang dami palang imported na mung beans.
Yes
Sabi
po,
ko,
madami
why
po
can we
talaga.
not produce this?
Yes, ma'am. Actually po tayo po ay 50% sufficient lang po sa mung bean.
So the quality of your mung bean na pinapack ninyo is only good as long as the quality of your source is also good, hindi ba?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Definitely
dapat meron na kayong talagang source that will provide you good quality mung beans. Otherwise, hindi naman din.
Yes po. Ang Isabela po ay isa sa pinakamalaking nagpro-produce po ng munggo. Ang Cabanatuan, or the neighboring municipality of Cabanatuan, yung San Mateo po is the munggo capital of the Philippines. So, ang region 2 po ay 112% sufficient po ng munggo. Kaya po yung pinanggagalingan po talaga ng raw materials po namin ay within the region po.
Yung ginamit niyong profitability analysis for the 3 enterprises, para meron kayong inano doon, di ba? Was that computed for 5 years? Kasi there's BCR 5 years.
Yes, ma'am. 5 years po. So, gumamit din po kami ng 3 enterprise. Although meron din po kaming computation for every individual products. Pero since yung iba po kasi, hindi lang individual products yung kailangan. Gusto po yung magkasama yung 3, kaya 2 lang. Yun po. So, kinompute po namin yon na 5 years po yung...
Yeah, again, I suggest that you also include the marketing,
Yes, ma'am. Sige po. Noted po.
Expenses. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you very much, Dr. Quinicio. Now may we have Dr. Manleon.
Good day and congratulations,
Thank you
Ms.
po.
Calderon. Reviewing your full paper, na-curious lang ako doon sa sa utilization ng pesticide kasi I read one information na heavily user pala ng pesticide yung yung mga mungwin farmers. Ganon din ba sa inyo?
Usually po, ang pinagkakagastusan lang talaga ng farmer sa amin ay yung harvesting. Pero yung sa pesticide po, medyo hindi po sila masyadong gumagamit. Kasi ang munggo po sa amin ay tinatanim siya after rice, to cropping of rice. So just after harvesting ng rice, bino-broadcast na po yan. Tapos inaantay na lang siyang lumaki. Kung may mga observe man po sila ng mga insect infestation, yun po yung nag-spray sila. Pero based po dun sa pina-analyze po namin sa ESPAL, mababa po yung pesticide residue po ng mga materials po na tinatanim or pinoproduce po nila doon sa Isabela.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you very much po, Dr. Manleon. Moving on, may we have Dr. Batalon.
Thank you.
Thank you
good
po.
morning again.
Good morning, sir.
Congratulations, Vanessa,
Thank you po.
for your presentation and for your project. Well, my question is about, it's really on the, because you have presented a good project, and you have good results. But I'm just really wondering, kung bakit hindi makapick up, yung ating mga products developed locally. While in your presentation, you have a very good financial viability and profitability. Just the same, generally, we cannot talaga hindi tayo makapasok sa market. And you also have presented a very good result as regards to the nutritional analysis, specifically yung EU noodles. You have compared this to the commercially available noodles. Yes. And yet, bakit kaya, in your own opinion, ano kayang reason?
Siguro po medyo nahihirapan tayo sa marketing. Usually kasi yung mga local products natin, pinoproduce, tas minamarket po natin throughout the region-wide lang po siya. With this po, sa project po natin, binabalak din po namin mag-explore sa mga different marketing strategies po natin in partnership with our AMAD, yung Agribusiness Marketing Assistance Division and DTI. So baka pwede po nating i-explore yung mga e-commerce po. Kasi minsan, although maganda yung product, mahirapan siya talagang nakakalabas sa region. So with this, kung makapag-partner tayo ng mga e-commerce po dito sa Metro Manila or outside the region, baka pwede po natin doon ma-promote and ma-commercialize the product, and at least kahit papano, makakapasok na po siya din sa national and international market later on. Yan po.
Assistance given to the, you have a cooperative, no?
Yes.
Being assisted, no?
Yes, sir.
Through this project. Ano naman yung kanilang, feedback? I mean, are they really benefiting from the project?
Yes, so far po, within yung nakalagay po kasi doon sa namin kanina, 1-year implementation of the project, meron na po silang gross income na 1.4 at nakapag-produce na po sila ng 50,000 packs na mungbin. At so far naman po, tuloy-tuloy pa rin naman po yung pagpasok ng mga orders po from other institutional buyers. Pero yun nga lang po, within Isabela lang and within Region 2. So kailangan po talaga namin expand po yung market po nila.
But this is, right now, they are being assisted. How
Yes,
about
po.
kung hindi na?
Yun. Nakikita naman po namin yung receptive nila at saka ngayon po kasi parang doon na po sila nag-focus doon sa food processing po ng ating mga products. And lahat naman po ng raw materials available na po sa kanila, and at the same time po meron po silang mga bagong project ngayon or marketing assistance na yung mga ibang product po nila ay in-export na po, or yung seeds po nila ay pwede na po nilang i-export sa Japan. Actually, meron na po tayong initial talks and with partnership po sa DTI na yung mga seeds, instead na mag-produce po sila dito ng sprouted munggo, so yung seeds na lang po yung ibibigay natin and transport na po natin sa Japan. So yun po. Thank you po.
Thank you very much po, Dr. Batalon, and to our judges, thank you very much. Ms. Calderon, thank you also.
Thank you so much po.
As I've said, we have many questions coming from our live viewers, but don't you worry because we have already captured them, and we will be sending them to our presenters, so they will be the ones answering the questions, and we will be keeping in touch with you. And that is our last paper for the development category. Thank you to our participating authors for your presentations. Now, apologies to our presenters and online viewers for adding a bit of suspense, as we will be keeping the results of today's symposium. We will then be revealing the winners for this year's NSAARRD during the awarding ceremonies at DOST Picard's Golden Anniversary celebration on November 10. Updates about the event will be posted on our social media platforms, so we hope to see you all there. Before we end today's symposium, may we have the DOST Picard's Deputy Executive Director for Administration, Resource Management, and Support Services, Dr. Melvin B. Carlos, for his closing remarks.
Good morning, everyone. It is my privilege to deliver the closing message for the 2022 National Symposium on Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources Research and Development. First and foremost, let me congratulate all the presenters, for you have proven to everyone that you deserve to be finalists, as you all delivered very informative and inspiring presentations. I'd like to express my appreciation to all of you for sharing your outstanding work with us, and I can't wait to see and witness the outputs and outcomes of your work to improve the state of Philippine aquaculture, agriculture, and natural resources sector and its stakeholders. I also want to express my sincerest gratitude to the members of our Board of Judges, Professor Tess Borromeo, Dr. Arnold Monleon, Dr. Emilia Tinicio, and our very own Dr. Juanito Batalon, who also served as a member of the Internal Screening Committee for the Best R&D Paper Awards. In spite of your busy schedules, you all made time and effort to fulfill your duties as BOJ members. You also did the most difficult job of evaluating, rating, and finally choosing the best paper from among the best. across the regions. So my deepest gratitude goes also to all who attended the symposium from various regional consortia to show their support and to Picard's initiatives. Last but not least, I want to thank our staff from OEDRD, MISD, ACD, GP, of course, our MC, and everyone else who helped make this event a success. We look forward to seeing you all at our S&T awarding ceremony and 50th Picard founding anniversary on November 10, 2022. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Carlos. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much to our board of judges. We also like to thank our online viewers for participating and staying with us until the end. Again, you will get an e-certificate after accomplishing the customer satisfaction feedback flashed on your screens and also posted in the comment section of this live streaming platform. We hope that you have learned new knowledge and insights from our finalist presenters. Once again, let us give a warm round of applause to our top 6 finalists for making it this far. You have made us all proud. Also, let us not forget to thank those who have submitted their entries for this year's NSAARRD, for you have all been a living proof of the significance of R&D in our modern lives. There would be no NSAARRD if it weren't for your brilliant minds, so let us also give them a round of applause. This has been the 2022 National Symposium on Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources Research and Development. I'm Gabriel Paulo Peralta, and it has been a great honor hosting you in this momentous event. Thank you very much for joining us. Stay safe and have a great day.